Like, is it a joke?
It's a really messy situation.
Should sell his team and be in jail for everything. You were the worst owner in the NFL. Like, get a life.
You tell him a billionaire to go get a life.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the PM Football Podcast. There were some pretty surprising outcomes this week in college football and in the NFL.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you about it, man. Let's get into this.
Yeah, so we're going to go right into college football. We had LSU and South Carolina. LSU ended up winning a nail-biter, 36-33. South Carolina goes down, misses a field goal to tie it.
Yeah, it was a lot closer than I thought it would be. I thought LSU would win a little more comfortably. Came down to the final kick of the game. Of course, South Carolina missed it. Yeah. But overall, I think it was a good game. South Carolina hung in there more than I thought they would.
Yeah, even though LSU picked up the win, they definitely still have some work to do.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't look like a complete team right now.
No, and there's a lot of inconsistencies. 1 week, they'll look very dominant.
Yeah.
And then the next week, not so much. So, I mean, we'll see what happens as the season goes on. You know, SEC plays coming in. I mean, they technically already did play, but, you know, even more SEC games are coming in. Yeah, the bigger, more. I say South Carolina isn't important.
They've looked good this year.
Yeah, they've looked like they could do some damage.
Yeah.
Is the best I could put it. But I don't know. I feel like LSU has to be more consistent if they want to put in a bid.
And I mean, I feel like, obviously, but like Nussmeier, he might have cemented himself as a first-round pick. He's looked really good this year.
I don't know this. Does he have? I mean, he definitely has more eligibility after this.
I think if he keeps this play up, he could put himself in the conversation of entering the draft because this isn't a crazy quarterback class at the moment.
Not compared to last year, at least.
No, because like right now, what you got? Cam Ward, Quinn, Shador, Beck, and then like who else after that?
And there's not other than I guess you could say Ewers is, I guess, the front runner to be the first overall pick as of now. Yeah. But at the same time, we're only in week 3. Like, there's so much that could change up until then.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like, after this week in the NFL, they've shown a lot of teams need quarterbacks now.
Yeah.
So the quarterback market in the NFL is going to be way more than what we had thought it was going to be already.
Luckily, my team isn't in that conversation anymore. It's been like that for years. But it's going to be really interesting to see as the season progresses, kind of where things start to shape up between not just the draft class, but the quarterbacks in the draft class, you know?
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, okay, we got the next game is Memphis and Florida State. This isn't a game to really talk about. We just really want to talk about how bad Florida State is.
We just like ripping off Florida State for obvious reasons because they deserve it. Like
100%.
I feel like they've spent more time, and I'm just speaking from what I've seen, how they played. It feels like they spent more time complaining and worrying about what happened last season, how last season ended, when they really should have been focused on their opponents of this year.
Yeah.
Because they have not looked good at all.
Like, it's gotten to the point where it's, does FSU even make a bowl game?
I don't
get to 6 wins.
I don't see how they could get to 6 wins. They can only afford to lose 3 more games, and we're in week 3.
Yeah, no, that's
like it's not looking good at all.
Yeah, no, it's FSU is in trouble,
and
it's not like we can go on here and say how bad DJ Uyunglele's looked, but the team itself has looked awful too.
Yeah, I like ripping on him just because like it's bad quarterback play. It's easy to rip on that. But at the same time, he doesn't have help offensively, defensively. Like, it's bad coaching.
100%.
It comes down to coaching. And, I mean, does Mike Norvell have a job next year with Florida State?
The only reason I think he keeps his job I would say he probably stays there for, if not next year, maybe the year after too, just because I think his buyout's like $70 million.
Wow.
And, like, that just sets you back even farther than what you already are at.
Yeah.
So you just kind of got to go into recruiting, go hard in recruiting.
I think that's part of the reason. I think they viewed at least this offseason recruiting as the fixer when that's not what it's for. Like, the portal isn't meant for...
The portal's meant to restock your team.
Yeah, so...
Not rebuild your team.
So teams need to view, at least in my opinion, teams need to view the portal as free agency in the NFL. You don't build a dynasty. You don't build a Super Bowl championship team, unless you're the Rams that 1 year, out of free agency. You don't do that with the portal. You build the core of your team through high school recruiting and the NFL through the draft. That's how good dynasties build the core of their team. You use the portal and you use free agency as kind of like to boost the team, not to be the core of your team.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a mistake Florida State has made. You could look at Colorado as well. Like when you look at the schools that have spent so much time getting guys from the portal, it's like a Band-Aid. Like it's not gonna fix what you want it to fix. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%. That's what I mean. Like you can't go into the portal to rebuild your team.
Absolutely.
You have to restock your team.
Yeah, you have to make it stronger. You have to get tools to uplift it, not build your team around the guys you got from the portal.
And I think the only way you can kind of help catch yourself up for this season is by benching DJ by week 8 and seeing what you got in another quarterback.
But I'm gonna be honest with you, why wait till week 8? Like,
you can do it now.
What are you gonna get out of him now?
Well,
like, what are you really playing for by keeping him in?
Yeah.
If you replace him for now,
and you can like we said, their season is not going in a good direction.
No.
What's the worst that can happen?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why wait till week 8?
Yeah, no, you could do it next week.
I'd do it today.
Yeah, I would honestly do it too. You got to see, like, even if the next guy in line isn't the guy, maybe the guy after him looks.
But either way, you know the guy you have now isn't the guy.
Exactly. So you got to see what else you got. So I mean, yeah, I would be making a quarterback change if I was FSU just to see what else you got, and then if you decide none of the guys you got on your roster, you go out and you get either a high school guy, which I feel like they should, because their roster's still young. They got a young roster. They lost a bunch of people last year, and they're bringing in a lot of new faces that are young people, and they need a couple years to develop. So why not bring in a young quarterback with them to kind of develop along with them? And then by the time 2 or 3 years down the road, maybe they're good again.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, props to Memphis. You go and you beat Florida State. Like, it's a bad Florida State team this year, but Memphis isn't supposed to beat Florida State.
No, and I'm really excited because I'll be able to see them this week, and I'll be at the Navy game, so I'll be able to see Memphis, up front, up close. So I'm excited to see the kind of talent they have on that team up close.
100%. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where Memphis goes this year. They have a shot at what are they in? They're in the AAC.
Yeah, they're in the American.
Yeah, I mean, they got a shot in that conference.
No, every year they're a solid team. Yeah. They are, so they always have a shot.
Okay, well, enough of the Florida State slander. We're moving on to the closest game of the week, in my opinion, which was Georgia and Kentucky, which was a very surprising close game.
It was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I would even go as far as to say Georgia now does not look like the number 1 team in the country after that game. Not to say Kentucky's bad, but you expect a Georgia team who's supposed to be the number 1 team to kind of do better there than win 13-12.
Yeah, Georgia definitely needs to figure things out before they play Texas.
Yeah.
If they can't get their stuff figured out before that Texas game, Texas is going undefeated this year.
Yeah, I agree. They look like they are the best team in the country right now.
Yeah. And I mean, props to Kentucky. You guys look like a top 25 team. And that's coming off of a week of getting blown out by South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Like, going into that game with Georgia and Kentucky, I thought Georgia would probably win that game by 4 touchdowns, but they just could not get anything going.
I thought it would definitely be more than 1 possession when it comes
100%.
Down to the end of the game.
It was at Kentucky, but again, it's Georgia.
Yeah. Like I said, you're supposed to be the number 1 team in the nation. They didn't really look like that.
They definitely did not show it.
Yeah.
And then we got the top 10 for this week, which is Texas at 1, Georgia at 2, Ohio State at 3, Bama at 4, Ole Miss at 5, Tennessee at 6, Missouri at 7, Miami at 8, Oregon at 9, and then Penn State at 10. And so this week, we're going to do something a little different than we've been doing in the past. We have our week 3 playoff predictions of what we think is the playoffs going to look like at the end of the year. So we got it up here for you guys so you guys can see it. And now you can go ahead.
All right.
So starting off, our prediction for the number 1 seed in the country is going to be Texas. Texas has looked very dominant in all of their games.
They have looked like the best team. Oh, my bad. Moved ahead too early. They look like the best team in the nation.
Alert.
Yeah, I mean, everyone saw that coming, but they look like the best team in the nation so far. Even with Quinn being out, like, Arch has looked amazing. that team overall looks amazing. So I think they end up winning the SEC and being the number 1 seed.
And for people that know me, I've been saying that Arch should be the quarterback there.
You have said that for a while,
and Arch, like, just my personal opinion, Arch as the starting quarterback at Texas is even better than what they are with Quinn, because Arch is so more dynamic than Quinn, and he can move, he can run. You saw the stat that came up. He's been faster than Tyreek Hill has this entire season. Which is
crazy.
Tyreek Hill,
crazy.
The cheetah.
Yeah.
Arch Manning. A Manning is faster than Tyreek Hill.
It's crazy. He's not like the other Mannings. Definitely not.
No, he got the Arch gene.
Yeah. Cooper, his dad was a receiver, so like, I guess like.
But Arch, even Arch himself, he was an athlete.
Yeah, he was.
It was just Manning or Peyton and Eli. They put.
But that's even crazier. Imagine Peyton or Eli as a freak athlete. Like, that's what Arch could be. That's his ceiling.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning that has wheels. That is crazy.
That on paper is the best player ever.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a lot to ask for coming from a 19-year-old.
But like, when you're in that bloodline,
that's the expectation.
Yeah. It is. Especially when you have that kind of physical traits, that is kind of the expectation.
So I mean, for right now, I think it's clear and obvious that at week 3, where we are in the season, Texas would be the number 1 seed.
I agree, yeah.
And then we got moving on to the number 2 seed. We got Ohio State winning the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Michigan lost to Texas. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose 1 or 2 more games.
Yeah.
Penn State hasn't looked as consistent right now.
But I still think Penn State beats Michigan right now if they play.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you with that. I just think Ohio State has been the best Big Ten school so far.
Yeah, I mean, they already have a loss. Like, again, it's against Texas.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, they're switching quarterbacks this week, so let's see how Orji plays, which we were calling for last week, saying that Orji should have been playing.
Yeah.
Maybe they listen to us. I doubt they listen to us.
They don't listen to us, but we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, Orji should have been the starter from the beginning, and we don't understand why he wasn't. But for all those reasons, Penn State and Michigan, I just don't see any other Big Ten teams outside of those, Michigan and Penn State, maybe contending with Ohio State.
Yeah.
Ohio State's just looked – they got the $20 million roster.
Yeah, and it shows. They've been looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I would even go as far to say they look better than what they did at this point last year.
100%.
So,
I mean, Jeremiah Smith is going to be so good.
Yeah.
He's already proven in 3 games that he's played he might be the best receiver product, which is saying a lot.
From Ohio State.
Coming out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
Like, they've had some dudes.
Generational talent coming out of that room. Not even that team, that room has had generational talent.
And to say that after 3 games for one guy.
That he could be the best.
He already looks like he might be the best.
Yeah.
That's
it's insane.
So, yeah. I mean, obvious Ohio State, we got at number 2. Number 3, we got Miami. Miami's coming out and winning the ACC.
Yeah, Cam Ward is looking really strong at this point. He's got to be a top 2, top 3.
I would say right now he probably is the number 1 candidate.
I would say that as well.
Just because of the Quinn injury.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, Quinn could come back this week. It's not known how long he's going to be out for, but just missing that half a game and how good Arch looked in that. Again, Arch is a very good player, so you can't really say like, oh, well, Arch looked that good with it. They're both that good.
Yeah.
But with Quinn missing time, I think you got to give it to Cam right now.
No, I agree with you. Just what he brings to the pass game and the run game, like, you trust the ball in his hands whether he's passing or running.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to choose someone over him when it comes to the Heisman as of now.
Yeah, and I mean, then they've just looked dominant in all of their games.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't really think of an ACC team that I could confidently say would beat Miami in a ACC championship game.
Clemson, maybe, if they can.
Yeah, but I'm more of a Miami fan than I am a Clemson
100%.
fan right now.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, we both feel the same way that
yeah.
At this point in the season, Miami should walk away with probably go undefeated with who they've got.
Yeah, out of all the P4 teams, they're looking like they're probably the most like secure. Like if I were to bet money on any of the conferences, like a guaranteed thing that they should take it home, mine would be on Miami. Yeah. Honestly,
they've looked the best in the ACC, and there's not really any competition outside of Clemson for them to contend. So for that, we're putting them at 3.
Yep.
And number 4, we got Utah. This was a tough one to do
This one was.
because there are multiple teams that can contend for the Big 12.
Yeah, we brought up Kansas State as one.
Oklahoma State.
Yeah, we just feel like overall, and a lot of this comes back to looking back at the history of the last couple of years. I think Utah probably has the biggest chance of now, but there's still other teams that, like we said, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, like this very well could be their conference as well.
I just think the biggest thing going for Utah is the veteran quarterback that they have.
Yeah, that
Cam
definitely
Rising
helps.
being there, what's this,
Seventh year, yep.
Cam Rising being your starting quarterback, having 7 years of college football experience. He's been in the big games. He knows how to
He's
play
good
in the big
too.
games. And he's a good player.
He is.
And they have weapons around him too, and a
Mhm.
very good defense.
That defense is always good. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think right now this was probably the toughest conference to pick a winner from.
Yeah.
But with all of what we've said, I think Utah right now would be our pick.
Yeah, for sure.
So for anybody that doesn't know how the playoff bracket is set up, so everyone's probably wondering why we have Utah at 4. It's the top 4 conferences, right?
Yeah.
The top winners of the 4 conferences get the 1 through 4 seeds.
Yeah, which will be the bye week, but we'll get to that.
And
later.
so everyone's wondering where's Georgia and Alabama?
Yeah.
Like they can't get that if Texas wins the SEC.
Yeah.
The highest you could win. So say it's flipped. Georgia wins the SEC. Texas could get 5 at the highest.
Yeah. Yeah, so one, like you said, 1 through 4 goes to the winners of each of the top P4 teams. So that's why we have Utah and Miami ahead of other like SEC Big Ten schools.
So with all that being said, we're moving on to our number 5 team.
Yeah.
We got Georgia. Georgia struggled this week, but
Yeah,
you can't have a perfect season.
they're making the playoffs.
Yes.
Like it
And they
doesn't
probably will
take
be-
rocket science to know they are. To say Georgia isn't going to be a top 12 team, like
That's
come on
insanity.
now, they're going to be a top 12 team. We have them at 5 here.
Yeah, I mean, like what you just said, in a 12-team playoff, there's no way Georgia gets left out. And for right now, they're still undefeated.
Yeah.
They've got to play Texas, which we have them losing right now,
Mhm.
which is why we have them at 5.
Yeah.
For everybody that's wondering why we have them.
And even if,
low.
at least personally, even if they do go to the SEC championship game, I still don't see them beating Texas. So,
Yeah, and even if it's not Texas, I don't think they beat Bama.
yeah,
they didn't last year.
Bama's looking strong.
Bama's looking strong too. So
Speaking of Bama,
Bama, a little spoiler, we got Bama at 6.
yeah.
For-
Again, I think it's the same with Georgia. Like, it's in the 12-team playoff. There's no way Alabama isn't a top 12 team.
Mhm.
So therefore, they go here at 6.
Yeah, I mean, not really much to say outside of that. Like,
Yeah,
they've looked like a top. They're currently a top 4 team. They're 4th right now.
Mhm.
So I mean, again, they didn't win the SEC, so we got to put them below Georgia and below Texas.
Mhm.
So for that, they're at 6.
yeah.
And so moving on, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. We got Ole Miss at 7. What do you think about Ole Miss?
Their offense is looking really nice. And it's been looking consistently nice over the past 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And again, kind of like Ole Miss and Alabama, probably not as much though. Like, I just don't see a scenario in a 12-team playoff where you can't say Ole Miss isn't a top 12 team. They just look really explosive offensively.
Yeah, and I mean, they brought in a lot of people in the portal too.
Yeah.
They were one of the teams.
Did they have the number 1 portal class this year?
Walter Nolan, who came from A&M,
Yeah.
has looked dominant for
Mhm.
them,
Yeah.
which is looking like a really good pickup, which was pretty expected. You bring
Yeah.
in a top defensive tackle in the portal,
hmm
you're expecting big things from him, and
For
he
sure.
has shown that. And their
For sure.
defense has definitely looked good. Their offense is good. You got Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's always going to have good offense. So right now, Ole Miss is 7 for us, and then moving on, we got Tennessee at 8, which again, outside of the top 4, we got 4 straight SEC
Yeah.
teams.
I mean,
making it.
another explosive offense here. You want to talk about another Heisman candidate? I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Nico
Nico.
Iamaleava.
Whatever he said. Either way, he's a baller. That's all I know.
And
when you
he's
look at the
He's
film,
a freshman.
yeah. When you,
Redshirt freshman.
redshirt freshman, yeah. When you look at the film, you can't help but just be in awe at his ability with the ball. So, yeah, explosive offense. I don't see how you can't put them in the top 12.
Yeah, no. Again, their offense is going to win them
A lot of
a
games.
lot of games this year.
Yeah.
They might lose a game or two
Yeah.
for having them
Just
at
because of how
8.
strong the SEC is.
Yeah, and I mean having them at 8, you're going to lose a game.
Yeah.
If not 2.
Not everyone could go undefeated.
No, and especially in the SEC.
Yeah.
So I mean, out of the 8 teams we've done so far, 5 of them have been SEC teams.
Yeah.
Which shows you how strong
it is a really strong SEC team. Especially, I feel like the Big Ten has kind of taken a little bit of a dip this year. So naturally, being one of the top 2 conferences, the SEC is going to look and be stronger.
And speaking of the Big Ten, we're moving on to number 9. We got the newcomers in USC. USC to me, and we didn't even talk about them when we were talking about the Big Ten, which I kind of forgot. It's just really hard to remember that a team in California is in the Big Ten.
I wanted to bring them up when we were talking about it earlier, but I knew we were coming to this segment, so I'm like, let's save this. Probably a lot of people looking like, why USC? Why not USC? They have looked pretty strong in all phases.
100%.
We said it, I believe it was in episode 2. If Caleb Williams had the defense they had now, it's not an overpowering defense, but they're at least competent. That's all this offense needs is a competent defense. They have it this year. So why not put them in the top 12, especially when other teams have been kind of iffy like Penn State, Michigan,
Oregon.
Exactly. So, why not USC?
Yeah. And again, we don't forget about you guys. We just think that you guys aren't in the Big Ten still. Like, it's just really hard to remember you guys are in the Big Ten now.
It's going to take some getting used to. Although Pac-12 might be making a comeback.
Yeah. That's a different story for a different day. But they might be coming back.
Yeah.
But so Miller Moss has continued to look good and will probably continue to look good, especially in a Lincoln Riley offense.
Yeah, no, he's been looking really strong. There's not really much else to say other than he's looking strong. The offense is going to be a USC offense. Like, what get out of it. The defense is competent. That's all it's going to
be a true test when they play a Big Ten defense, like a Michigan. Even if they played an Iowa, that's going to be such a interesting game.
Yeah, for sure. And
like, what's going to outweigh what? Is the Iowa defense going to outweigh the high-powering offense? And usually it is the defense.
Mm-hmm.
But in our case, Lincoln Riley, not Penn State, the Big Ten has not seen offense like this.
No, it's such a systematic offense, kind of similar to an Ohio State, where there's a read for everything, there's a process for everything. Everything kind of has an answer to something. So, like you said, it will be really interesting to see that kind of offense.
Well, there's a reason the last 4 or 5 quarterbacks Lincoln Riley has had are playing in the NFL right now.
Yeah. Like, really high draft picks.
He gets them ready.
Yeah.
And I feel like Miller Moss eventually will be at that.
He's been looking really good. So, I agree.
So, next, we're moving on to number 10. We got Penn State right now. We have them in here just because they've looked like according to us, the 3rd best Big Ten team.
Yeah.
They've struggled some. They were in a close game against Bowling Green, which they shouldn't have been in, and it shouldn't have been a close game.
No. And 10 through 12, we're gonna see throughout the season. It's gonna change.
Flip flop.
Yeah, like this is where it really gets difficult with the playoffs. But as of now, we do think they're the 3rd best Big Ten team. Michigan just doesn't look as strong. Iowa, you can't really ever count them in. Who else is there? Like Wisconsin, or we really go bank on Wisconsin being better than Penn State?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. So therefore, we have Penn State at 10.
Yeah, I mean, you've pretty much said it all. That's again, these 8 to 12 teams, 8 to 11, because the 12 team is going to
I'd even say like 7 through 12.
Yeah.
It's going to be really...
They're going to flip-flop throughout the next however many weeks there are left in the season.
Yeah.
They're going to keep flip-flopping. Yeah. But so we're moving on to number 11, which is another Big Ten team. We think Oregon still gets in there. They've struggled, and I think this last game they showed they kind of turned it around. They go and beat up on Oregon State.
Yeah. They were my prediction to make it to the Natty versus Georgia. There were such high expectations from the national media when it comes to Oregon. They haven't quite lived up to the hype. Still undefeated. Still looking like a pretty strong, solid team.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, they're at 11. Can't really see them putting them much higher than that.
No. I mean, I think they sneak in right now if the season ended today as 11. just because, like you said, their offense is very explosive and can keep them in a lot of games. Their defense has, like I said, looked better than it had in the past couple weeks against Oregon State.
Mm-hmm.
So
who knows? Maybe they get better week by week.
Like,
we don't know.
They could end up being 7.
Yeah,
by the end of the year.
Absolutely. They have the roster to do that. So we'll see what happens.
Then moving on to 12. So for you guys that are wondering why we got Boise State at 12, the number 12 seed is the best group of 5 school.
Yeah.
And for right now, we are putting Boise State in there.
Yeah, I mean, they do look like the best group of 5 school in the nation right now. They went toe-to-toe with Oregon, who we had at 11. They have a Heisman hopeful in Ashton Genty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why wouldn't it be Boise State? I can't think of another G5 school that you could confidently say is better than Boise State.
I think, so again, these are projections. If the season ended today, it would probably be Northern Illinois, just because they have the win against Notre Dame, who was 5 at the time. But these are projections for the end of the year. And we think Northern Illinois are going to lose a game or two.
Yeah.
And if they lose a game or two, probably more.
Yeah.
But I just don't see any team in their conference beating Boise State.
No, I completely agree. They just look, as an overall team, they look like the most powerful G5 school.
Yep. I mean, there you go. Like you said it. That Boise State is our pick right now for the 12th seed. So again, we got Texas at 1, Ohio State at 2, Miami at 3, Utah at 4, Georgia at 5, Alabama at 6, Ole Miss at 7, Tennessee at 8, USC at 9, Penn State at 10, Oregon at 11, and Boise State at 12. And so then the way that these would match up. So first week, we'd have we'd have Tennessee and USC play each other. The winner of that game would go on to play Texas. Then we'd have Ole Miss and Penn State play. The winner of that game would go on to play Ohio State. And then we have Alabama and Oregon, who would go on. The winner of that game would go on to play Miami. And then we got 5 and 12, and the winner of that game would go on to play Utah. So that's how the playoff bracket would look if the season ended today for us.
Yeah, and again, we're only in week 3 going on to week 4. This is going to look completely different literally next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, as of now, we think this is what it will look like, and if you disagree, you're just wrong.
Yeah, because we're right.
We're going to be right. Yeah.
Except for our NFL picks last week.
That's not important.
Which we're going to get into in a minute, but we're transitioning into another new segment that we're doing this week. We're doing our Week 10 NFL top 10 teams.
Yeah. I mean, not Week 10, Week 2.
Week 2. I was getting a little
teams.
ahead of myself.
Yeah. We're all
These
good.
are our top 10 teams for this past week.
For sure. So should we start?
Yeah, go ahead. This is going to surprise some people.
Yeah.
It definitely
surprises us.
You. It surprised you. I was more hopeful about Sam Darnold. I definitely didn't think right now that you would put the Vikings at 10.
Look, I said it in previous weeks. I'm going to say it again. Sam Darnold has already showed you what he is. For people, there might be some people out there that think, oh, he might win this, might win that, could take them to the promised land, win a couple playoff games. I don't think so. I think Sam Darnold has showed you time and time again exactly who he is. But you have to give props where it's due. As of now, he has made them look, in our opinion, like a top 10 team. He's made the offense look very explosive. That defense is looking really solid. So, we think that's worthy of a top 10 spot right
Absolutely. Like you said, they go and they beat the 49ers. The 49ers are Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah.
And it's a home game, but you're also the Vikings.
Yeah.
And you can still go out and beat the 49ers. And so, I mean, for those reasons, we have them at 10 this week.
Yeah. No, they've been looking really good the first 2 weeks.
Yeah. We got to see them keep it up and see how they can play against teams in their own division.
Yeah.
Because that division's very tough.
I would say as of now, they're probably the best division in football.
I would say that too. And then we got number 9. We got the Saints, which again,
took us by surprise.
Very surprising team to this point in the season.
Kubiak has been a great offensive coordinator. Would not be surprised if he ends up being a head coach next year for some team. But he has Derek Carr looking like an MVP candidate the first 2 weeks.
The Saints have scored 15 out of their 15 drives this year.
Yeah.
They have scored points on all 15 drives that they've had this season. That's crazy.
Yeah. Like, that's not easy to do at all.
It was against the Commanders. Or not the
No.
Commanders. It was against... Who did they play
Week
1?
one was... I'm forgetting who they played week 1. Because last week was
Panthers.
Dallas.
They beat
Week
up
1
on the
was
Panthers.
Panthers.
So that doesn't
Anyone
really
could do
count.
that. But Dallas, who at week 1 looked like they had a really strong defense against Cleveland. So for them to go out and do that, Alvin Kamara popping off like he did.
Alvin Kamara rejuvenating his career.
Yeah, like they look very strong. That defense is playing really well as well.
They're just playing like an all-around good football team right now.
Yeah.
And again, they are also, which we thought was going to be a very weak conference.
That conference is looking pretty good right now.
Yeah. I mean, the Bucks look pretty good, and not to get ahead of ourselves, they're going to be on this list, but the Saints are looking good, and right now they're our number 9 team.
Yeah.
And then we're moving on to number 8. We got the Packers.
Yeah, maybe they would be higher if Jordan Love didn't get hurt. Still looking like a solid team. Looking like a top 10 team. Obviously, we have them at 8. But what do you think of them?
I mean, like, they come in to the game against the Colts, starting Malik Willis. We both picked the Colts last week to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't think Malik Willis would be a factor. He wasn't. The good thing about the Packers is that they have so many weapons on offense. They have 4 true receivers.
Yeah.
They have 2 solid tight ends and a running back.
Like solid defense.
And a very solid defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to win you a lot of football games with no matter who is a quarterback.
Yeah, but then hopefully Jordan Love gets back up, gets healthy, put him back in it. This will be a powerhouse.
Yeah. No, I think the Packers, once Jordan Love is healthy, probably are even higher on this list.
Yeah, for sure.
And now we got moving on to number 7. Very disappointing loss for the Eagles on Monday night.
Yeah, so when we originally made this list earlier this week, we had them a lot higher, assuming they were going to beat Atlanta. You could blame whoever you want for the game. Bottom line is they lost.
Yeah.
You win as a team, you lose as a team. They lost, therefore we had to kind of bring them down a little bit. So, yeah, that's why we have them at 7.
Yeah, like you said, it was a very disappointing loss. And in the way that you guys lose that game, you had that game.
Yeah, you did.
You were a Saquon Barkley drop away from winning.
Did you see Scott Van Pelt, like, with a minute 30 left? You know how he, towards the end of the game, he'll, like, I'll stick around for SVP, whatever. He, like, with a minute 30 left, he's like, oh, stick around for SVP. We'll be in the winner's locker room. And then they end up going and losing the game. It's pretty bad. I mean, as a Washington fan, I was pretty happy about it.
You were enjoying watching.
Oh, it was definitely a fun night, but yeah, that's just a game you have to win if you're Philly.
What did you think of the Drake London penalty?
I mean, I don't care.
He was shooting off fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, one, you got that stupid. Luckily, Yunwei Koo made the kick, so it ended up not mattering too much. But you gotta be smarter than that, dude. And again, it doesn't matter because they ended up winning. So
yeah, and kind of
don't
off
do
topic
it again.
here, but did you hear the stat that every kicker in the NFL has made, like, everybody that has attempted a 50-yard field goal this year has made their kicks?
Yeah,
and one kicker has missed. The only kicker that has missed a 50-yarder this year.
Is it Justin Tucker?
Justin Tucker.
Which sucks because I have him on fantasy. So
that is the craziest thing ever.
Are we seeing the Justin Tucker downfall?
I never thought that would even be a sentence that
I thought he'd be playing until he was like, I mean, he obviously still playing, but like, I thought he'd be like a top 2, top 3 kicker until he was like mid-40s.
For us to say Justin Tucker is the only kicker in the NFL that has missed a 50-yarder this year.
It's pretty crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And that tells you how good kickers are now.
Yeah.
If they hit 50-yarders like it's nothing. Those are chip shots for them now.
Yeah.
I kind of got a little kicker rant right there, but I just thought that was pretty
Kickers are athletes too.
They are. They're a part of the team.
Yeah.
All right. We got moving on to number 6. We got the Lions.
Yeah, a little bit of a down week for them, but I mean, it's still hard to not see them as Super Bowl contenders. They're just all around a solid team.
Yeah, I mean, you got Dan Campbell. He was always going to have a good defense. And, I mean, they kind of went away from what their identity is on offense. They threw the ball, I want to say it was like 47 times.
Yeah.
And they only ran it around 30 times.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the Lions' way.
Not at all, but, I mean, for their sake, I hope they kind of go back to their roots, kind of go back to their identity of football. Because obviously we saw they didn't, saw what the result was. So maybe they switch it up. But, I mean, we'll see. We still have them as a top 10 team, though.
Yeah, I mean, they played a very good Bucks team. The
Yeah.
Bucks are going to be a good team this year. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't really think that they were going to be as good as they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little higher on them than you obviously were.
Mm-hmm.
But I figured the Bucks would still win that division. Or no, I think we picked the Falcons, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. But it's not like we thought the Bucks were going to be some pushovers. And they've been looking really good.
Yeah, they've got a lot of weapons, which I think bringing us to the next point, we got
the
the Bucks at 5.
Yeah.
Again, they go out and beat the Lions, and they look very high powered on offense. Their defense is flying around making plays for them.
Yeah, so I earlier this year may have disrespected them a little bit as a team. Not saying they're going to be bad. I just didn't think they would look as dominant as they have. They've been looking really good in all phases. However, I will say I am sticking to my guns. I still think Baker Mayfield will end up showing that he isn't as good as what he really is. Can this completely come back and punch me in the face? Absolutely, but it won't. Because he will end up showing you, not to say he's going to be trash, but he will regress as the season goes on. The team is looking really good. I'm still counting on Baker to regress.
Well, you're counting on him to regress, which from what he has shown through 2 games, again,
he is not going to regress. He has not shown any signs of regressing, but take my word for it. Give it time. Much like Sam Darnold, I'm putting him and Sam Darnold in the same category. They will end up showing you who they really are.
I just don't think so. I think both of them, more Baker Mayfield. Baker has turned the page.
And maybe I'm close. I feel more confident that Sam Darnold will show you who he is than Baker. I'm starting to go kind of more like Dane. Maybe Baker did turn the page. But I still feel like I should stick to my guns because it was one of my hot takes. So there's no point in chickening out now. I'm going to still say Baker will regress. But I definitely think there's a higher chance that Baker ends up proving me wrong than Sam Darnold does.
And you also think that
We're not. Hey.
Bryce Young is going to win comeback player of the year. And he's on the bench.
Which, I mean, we could talk. I don't think we should talk about because we could go on for hours.
We'll get to it once we talk about their game.
Yeah, we will. But just overall, we'll get to it later. Overall, it's a very messy situation.
Not looking good.
No.
But so for that, we got the Bucks at 5. Moving on to number 4, we got the Texans.
Yeah. I mean, we called it. We knew the Texans were going to be really strong, and that's what they've showed. C.J. Stroud has gotten better from last year. Obviously, it was his rookie years. You expect him to be better, but overall as a team, they're looking great. They're looking phenomenal.
I mean, you already had C.J. Stroud, like you said, look really good last year, and you add another weapon with Diggs, and you give him Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
How is that team not going to get better?
Yeah.
Like, it was very obvious that team was going to get better.
Yeah.
And, like, right now, they're looking like a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had them going to the AFC Championship before the season started, and it looks like that could very much be true. Yeah, they're just looking very strong right now.
Yeah, I will admit that I'm not saying I'm completely wrong yet in saying that they were going to take a regression this year, but they don't look like they're regressing.
They haven't shown any sign at all of regressing.
Not at all. I mean, pretty obvious reasons why we got them at number 4.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 3, we still have the Niners up at 3, even though they go in and lose that game to the Vikings.
Yeah.
It's still the Niners.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not a full team yet. They don't have McCaffrey.
Look, I can't pick any team in the NFC that I could confidently say is better than the Niners. Does it suck that you lost to the Vikings? Yeah, but we had them as a top 10 team. So when you look at it in the perspective of you lost to a top 10 team, and weren't they away as well?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem as bad as it really does. That's why they're not 1, but they're definitely still a top 3 team in this league.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're not completely healthy yet. Ayuk still getting up to speed. Didn't practice at all.
Man, am I happy my Commanders did not end up trading. As of now, he could end up catching up to speed, but as of now, he does not look like the same Brandon.
And
Ayuk.
I mean, the thing that hurt them this week were the turnovers from Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy
he needs 5 All-Pros to be able to look like his normal Brock Purdy.
I won't go out to say that, but yeah, no, it did not look. That was not
his normal self.
That was not a good case for Brock Purdy.
No,
because that's always been the thing. Is well, anybody could play in that system.
Yeah, which I still believe. I firmly still believe you could plug maybe not any quarterback, but like you could pluck in like a Taylor Heineke. Tua's good. Well, what's like a pretty mid quarterback that you think you could plug
Sam
in?
Darnold.
Yeah, no, honestly, I
He
think
was there with them last year.
Yeah, I think you could put Sam Darnold in there and like have pretty good results. Maybe even an Anthony Richardson. Call me crazy, but as long as he sticks to like that game plan, that scheme, that style of football, I don't see why Anthony Richardson would not work out in that kind of offense.
Yeah, and all right, I'm gonna go on a little bit of an Anthony Richardson rant right
Mm-hmm.
here. Everybody going into the season was so high on Anthony Richardson, and I could not figure out for the life of me why.
Mm-hmm.
He has not proven anything at the college level or at the NFL level that he is going to be a good quarterback. And what has he shown you this year that he is a good quarterback?
I mean,
I'm
not disagreeing with you.
You're one of the few people that agree with me that
Yeah.
he's not going to be an elite level type quarterback.
Yeah.
But people think that Anthony Richardson is going to be an MVP one day.
Yeah, I definitely would not go that far with Anthony Richardson, but I do think like in an offense like the 49ers, like
I'm not even just talking about like just Anthony Richardson in general. He's I'm going on a rant. I cannot understand for the life of me why people like him so much. I just don't get it, and I know I'm not even arguing.
So during the draft process when he was coming out, what were your opinions of him?
He should not have been a first round pick.
Really?
No.
Okay.
What did he do that garnered him to be a first round pick?
And I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, but I do think with the ceiling, it was the potential. It was the ceiling.
What was his potential?
Great arm, ability to run, strong runner, great build. I think if you were the Colts, especially when at that point, you needed a quarterback. Bryce was gone. CJ was gone. It was really down to him and Will Levis. You need a quarterback. What in their position at 4? What do you really do? I feel like Anthony Richardson.
You take the best player available and you get a veteran.
But that's what they did. They did the past like 4 years.
Yeah, and you keep building until you get the guy that's good.
I don't know. I don't blame them for getting Anthony Richardson.
I just have never been a big fan of Anthony Richardson. And I know a lot of Florida fans weren't a big fan of Anthony Richardson, which is even more of a reason why I thought he wasn't going to succeed in the NFL. Florida fans didn't like Anthony Richardson. So what would make you think that NFL fans were going to like Anthony Richardson if his own college fans don't like him? And I know I'm kind of arguing. I should be arguing to the people because
I didn't think we'd be ranting about Anthony Richardson.
I just am sick of the Anthony Richardson hype. He's not that good.
We were just talking about the 49ers being a top 3 team, and here comes JJ screaming at the camera that Anthony Richardson isn't a good quarterback. Which, again, I'm not necessarily disagreeing.
I need to drink some water because it's just making me mad.
I mean, back to the 49ers. They're the 3rd best team in the league. Best team in the NFC. Luckily, they don't have Anthony Richardson.
Very lucky.
I still think you could plug him into that offense and it works out, though.
Probably. You could probably plug me into that offense and it might work.
Very true.
All right. Enough of that. We're moving on to number 2. We got my team, the Bills.
Yeah, I will give...
hold on. I want to hear...
I was getting there. I will give you and Buffalo credit. Although you did say the same thing in the first episode. Yeah, and I think even the national media thought that. We did say we thought
that
the Bills...
was 3 weeks... that was a week.
Going to regress.
That was before the season started.
Yeah.
And the second episode was after the season had started. So, obviously, as a fan, watching Josh Allen play football again, you forget how good of a football player Josh Allen is.
He's pretty good.
And, all right, we're going on another rant. And I know we were talking about this. We were talking about this because, I mean, we're going to do it in this segment because we're getting rid of our storyline segment this week. So I'm gonna bring it.
Perfect. Right. Yes. Let's do this thing, man.
I have a proposition for everybody.
Okay.
You take Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and you flip their situations right now. You put Josh in Kansas City and Pat in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
This is from the starts of their career.
Mm-hmm.
Do the Chiefs still have as many rings as they do now? Or do the Bills have those rings with Pat Mahomes?
I'll tell you this. I think if the roles were reversed, where Mahomes were on the Bills and Josh Allen were on the Chiefs, I think by now, yes, the Chiefs would still have Super Bowl rings. I don't think they would be competing for a three-peat, though.
Why?
I just think Pat Mahomes is a better fit for an Andy Reid offense. Not to say it wouldn't work out with Josh Allen, because like I said, I do think Josh Allen would still be a Super Bowl champion if he was on the Chiefs.
But what makes the Chiefs and Andy Reid so good?
I just think Pat Mahomes overall is a better quarterback than Josh Allen.
I'm not disagreeing with you with that.
Okay.
But what makes Andy Reid such a good coach?
He just schemes up things really well, understands matchups really well, gets his guys open really well.
He understands what his players do well.
He does know their strengths really well.
And is not one of the coaches who was like, you have to learn this system.
Mm-hmm.
He caters to his players.
Mm-hmm.
You see with Xavier Worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier Worthy is not an elite receiver, but he can make him look good with what he has.
Yeah.
If Josh Allen is on the Chiefs,
mm-hmm.
with what you have seen him do on the Bills, why would they not?
You know what? You have a really good point there. When you look at it from a coaching standpoint, and Andy Reid does know how to get the strengths of his players and really utilize that. I can't really argue with that point.
The only reason I bring this up is because it's always the question of who's. I mean, it's not even a question anymore. Pat, I'm not even arguing it. Pat is the number one quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, what happens if you put Josh on the Chiefs? And again, you could probably argue this for the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. If you put them on the Chiefs, does Andy Reid make them Super Bowl winners like they've done with Pat Mahomes?
Yeah.
I just think that if you flip them, and again, the whole reason I'm bringing this conversation up is because everyone says Josh Allen can't win the big game.
Mm-hmm.
And how much of that is on Josh Allen? Because in those games where they are considered the big games that he can't win, where did he play bad? It's not on him. He is the guy that is keeping them in that game. The defense, the 13-second disaster, how do you blame that on? You go and score 2 touchdowns in a minute 30 to take the lead in an AFC championship game.
Yeah.
And then you lose with a Stephon Diggs drop.
Yeah.
The ball goes right through his hands.
Mm-hmm.
How is that Josh Allen's fault?
Yeah, no, like I said, I can't really disagree with you there.
If those two things flip, like the 13-second and the Diggs catch to that pass, the Bills are 2-2 against the Chiefs in the playoffs instead of 0-4. Like, none of and then the other 2 games that they ended up losing to the Chiefs was Josh's first time in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to win first time in the playoffs. That's just you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
And he got a taste. And they didn't win that game, but he still looked good. You could argue Josh has been better in the playoffs than Patrick Mahomes.
I wouldn't go that far.
Why?
Because at the end of the day, the most important thing, the only thing that really matters is winning.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily saying it was Josh Allen's fault that they have not won. However, with Pat Mahomes, the job gets done. Therefore, I can't look at Josh Allen and be like, you did better than this guy who is getting the job done.
I know, but it's not even necessarily that Josh isn't getting the job done. He is.
But like at the same time, you haven't been getting and again, it's not necessarily all his fault, and it's not his fault. But as the quarterback, and you can even say as the head coach, as both of those, wins and losses all come back to you. He hasn't gotten the Bills to where they want to be fully. Therefore, he does have to take some blame.
Sure.
And therefore, I can't be like, yeah, dude, you've been doing better than Mahomes.
I just think the better way to put it is Andy Reid is that much better of a coach than Sean McDermott.
So I kind of have two questions with you, but if you're already going to bring up Sean McDermott, I'll bring this up. At what point do you kind of look at Sean McDermott and be like, this isn't working out, you're gone?
I think if the same thing happens this year that's
Really?
happening, they might move on. Last year, the Bills fans were calling for him.
All right, so let's say you go to the.
And that's crazy. Let me just.
But all right, what game would he have to lose in the playoffs for you to be like, you're gone?
I think if they lose to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game this
year, you think if the Bills go to the AFC Championship and lose to the Chiefs, they'll look at head coach Sean McDermott and be like, you're gone.
He hasn't done it.
Wow.
Why? Out of all of the teams the Bills have had in the past 4 years, 5 years, why haven't they won a Super Bowl? And again, in my opinion, it's not because Josh Allen didn't do anything.
What percentage of that blame would you put on Sean McDermott?
Of them losing in the playoffs?
Yes. What percentage?
It's going to be high.
What percent? Give me a number.
90%.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And again,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm genuinely wanting to know this.
No, I would say 90% of the blame should be on Sean McDermott. Were there injuries on their defense? Yes, which is another big reason why they weren't able to do it. They've never had a healthy defense going into a big playoff game. Milano was out last year. Terrell Bernard was out last year. We had A.J. Klein starting at linebacker for us in a playoff game last year.
Yeah.
The year before that, same thing. We had injuries. Tre'Davious White not playing, who was our best corner at the time. We didn't have Rasul Douglas at the time. We had Teron Johnson, who's a slot corner, is our best corner on the field. And we had Dane Jackson and Kyrie Elam. You're not winning a playoff game with those two at starting corner.
Yeah.
That's just been a big... But, I don't know.
No, I mean, I get where you're coming from. And it's definitely an interesting perspective. Because, again, you brought up, no one really thinks about it. It's so easy to just compare the two quarterbacks. What you're doing is you're going more in depth with it. You're looking at the head coaches, and you're saying, hey, what Andy Reid does just brings his team up to a better position overall compared to what Sean McDermott does with his team.
And again, I'm not saying Josh is better than Patrick Mahomes, but there is a question that they are very comparable players for what they bring to their teams. If Josh Allen is not on the Bills, they might win 4 games.
So I have a second question for you, and I'm really excited about this question.
Okay.
So, and it's what if this happened kind of question. So there might kind of be some loose ends. So, correct me if I'm wrong or any mistakes like that. It might get a little messy. Let's go back to the 2017 draft where Patrick Mahomes ends up getting drafted. If you could push a button and you guys keep that pick and end up drafting Patrick Mahomes, and then somehow that next year the Chiefs end up drafting Josh Allen, would you push that button?
No.
Why not?
Because of what I said. It's the coach.
I'll be honest with you. I think you're crazy.
Why?
Because why not? And you've even agreed that Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Josh Allen. So why not do you think that the Bills would still have no Super Bowls if Patrick Mahomes was the quarterback?
Yes.
Really?
Why was Patrick Mahomes a sure thing coming out of college?
No, not at all.
Not even close, right?
No.
Was Josh Allen a sure thing coming out of college?
Not even close.
Not even close. Did Patrick Mahomes get to sit an entire year?
Yes.
Did Josh Allen get to sit an entire year?
No, and this one time I where the loose ends kind of come in. It's different because Josh Allen was supposed to sit. Maybe not for the full year, but he was supposed to sit.
Yep.
It just didn't end up working out because you had freaking Nathan Peterman, which those who
Shame on Sean McDermott again. Nathan Peterman is starting over Josh Allen.
A rookie Josh Allen, though. You want the rookie to learn.
You're going to start Nathan Peterman, who's thrown 4 interceptions and a half?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that part. That's pretty bad.
What are they doing?
Yeah.
How do you say, yep, we're going to start this guy just because we have him? We're going to try to do what the Chiefs did and let Josh sit for a little bit.
Yeah.
Why?
Fair point.
It's not Alex Smith. It's Nathan Peterman.
Yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing at all. That's a really good point.
So what tells you any different? Pat Mahomes
just
is going
think,
into battle Nathan Peterman.
All right,
is Pat Mahomes sitting behind Nathan Peterman?
Do you think there's a better chance you guys would have won a Super Bowl or will win the Super Bowl if Patrick Mahomes was your quarterback?
No.
Really? So to me, it sounds like you were pretty much blaming 100% of the reason why the Bills do not have a Super Bowl.
Sean McDermott.
Wow. And you said if you lose, even if you make the AFC Championship game,
and they lose to the Chiefs, and it's not even the Chiefs, it's probably going to be the Chiefs. But
so let's say if you lose to like the Texans in the AFC Championship,
it's 100% gone.
Wow. I mean, yeah, because all right, yeah. So any team really then.
Yeah. If they lose in the playoffs,
so it's Super Bowl or nothing.
Based off of the first 2 weeks, yes, they have looked that good. Can you not agree with that?
No, they've looked really good.
And it's with a depleted offense. They bring in all these new guys. And again, everybody was concerned about Diggs leaving. Yeah. I was concerned when it first happened. And then I realized what they were doing. Yeah. They're playing Moneyball. Mm-hmm. Have you seen the movie Moneyball?
Yeah.
They're trying to replace one guy's thing with three people's averages.
Yeah.
They did that with the receiving corps.
Yeah.
They're spreading the ball around instead of forcing the ball to one guy.
Yeah.
And it just works out better because he doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I got to get the ball to Diggs. I got to get the ball to Diggs.
We're only 2 games in. There's still a lot of things that could happen.
100%.
But
and it would be it would be a very Buffalo thing for them to lose to the Jacks this week.
It would. I don't think it will happen. We'll get to that later. I don't think it will happen, but I just think it's kind of crazy that you would fire your coach. And look, if you lose the wild card, I understand why you would fire him. But to go to the AFC Championship and then fire him, that's hard for me. At
this point in Sean McDermott's coaching career, if you make it to the AFC Championship with the team that they have currently, is this the worst team the Bills have had in the past 3 years? Like roster-wise?
Roster-wise, yes.
If you were able to make it to the AFC Championship game with a worse roster and still not win it, why are you like? What are we waiting for?
Yeah.
What else are we waiting on?
Yeah.
You need someone else in there. And it's not even like I hate Sean McDermott.
I don't know.
It sounds
like you do.
It 100% sounds like I do, and I do put a lot of blame on Sean McDermott.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even know where I was going with that. But if Sean McDermott can't win in the playoffs this year and make it to the Super Bowl, if the Bills make it to the Super Bowl, I think it buys him another year.
I would hope so, yeah.
I mean, who in the NFC is beating the Bills? The Niners?
I mean, if the Niners, if you catch them on a good day. As of now, I think the only team we can really put there is the Niners, yeah. Which is why we have them at 3 and the Bills at 2.
Yeah.
I honestly forgot we were even doing a rankings list.
I had to do this because we had discussed about this earlier in the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wanted to talk about this. And I just think it's all what ifs.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But I just think it's a very interesting topic because those two are always compared, and it's always that Josh,
because it's the top 2 quarterbacks,
and it's always that Josh is the one that can't get it done.
Yeah.
But I just want to show you the reasons why it's not on Josh.
Fair enough.
So after all that rant, the Bills are a number 2 team,
and that's because
this guy Patrick Mahomes is the number 1 team.
No, he's the number 1 quarterback on the number 1 team with the number 1 head coach. And yeah, they're like, there's really no point in kind of going on about this. It's the Chiefs. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Andy Reid. They're the best.
For what we just talked about, 100%.
Yeah, literally, we really don't even have to really get into it. We literally just went on, or mainly you, went on a rant why they kind of are the best team. It's just because systematically with the head coach, that quarterback, it works. They're the best.
Yeah, beat them.
Yeah.
Beat them.
Yeah.
That's it. Beat them.
Yeah. And with that, this is our top 10.
You got it.
Awesome. We got Vikings at 10, Saints at 9, Packers at 8, Eagles fall into 7, Lions at 6, Bucks at 5, Texans looking really strong at 4, 49ers hanging on at 3. Sadly for you, the Bills at number 2 and the Chiefs. No one. And if you argue the Chiefs not at number 1, I don't know what to really tell you. And if you're arguing with the list, again, just like the college one, you're wrong.
And I mean,
the
at the
top
same
10.
time, like the Chiefs usually start out slow.
Yeah.
You could say they started out slow this year, but they're 2-0.
But look,
last year at this point they were 1-1.
Look, dude, we even talked about it. Episode 1, episode 2, they somehow look better. Like I don't understand how you went from amazing to better than amazing.
Andy Reid gets the guys he wants and puts them in spots for them to succeed. Which is why, if I'm the Bills, you need to consider moving on from Sean McDermott if this season doesn't end in a Super Bowl win.
So you're saying Super Bowl win or fire? No, because you earlier said Super Bowl appearance, and you're fine.
Sure, Super Bowl appearance. But and I know every Bills fan out there is if the Bills make the Super Bowl and lose another one,
I'd laugh.
Okay, I don't think they're ever going to.
I'm going to be completely honest with you, dude. If the Bills make the Super Bowl and lose, I will laugh at first. I'm going to be honest, I will laugh at first. And then I will feel bad because of all the things you guys have gone through.
For my sake, I hope they don't even make the Super Bowl because then I won't have to worry about it. But
oh my God, what if you saw them lose the Super Bowl? See, like what would hurt the most? Losing to the Chiefs
the fact
in the
that
AFC
Sean McDermott
Championship
probably ruined the Super Bowl for us.
Listen. What would hurt you most? Losing to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, or not even facing the Chiefs in the playoffs, but losing the Super Bowl.
Probably losing to the Chiefs again.
That would hurt more than losing the Super Bowl.
Because again, it'd be Josh can't do it.
Yeah.
At least at that point, if they make it to the Super Bowl and don't even play the Chiefs in the playoffs, you could be like, all right, Josh made it to the playoffs. He made it farther than Pat. Because, I mean, at that point, if he doesn't play the Chiefs, he made it farther than Pat this year in the playoffs. Yeah. And he's done that already.
Yeah.
Has he? No, maybe not.
No,
he hasn't yet. But, like, it just makes it so, like, okay, yeah, this year Josh did play better than Pat. But I bet you everybody's going to be like, well, the Chiefs had a down year. And they're going to be right with Pat and be like, well, they didn't have the team that they had these past couple of years. And it's never that for Josh. And I'm just sick of it. Josh gets so much slander for no reason. And including slander on Josh, Pat's throwing more picks than Josh. Yeah. And Josh is the turnover merchant.
I did see a crazy stat, and I'm going to get the numbers wrong. I already know I'm going to get the numbers wrong.
18 and 17.
No, not just him and Tom Brady. Like, Pat Mahomes has had more interceptions called back in his first, 6 years? How long has he been in the league? 6 years? Or at least started in 6 years than Tom Brady did his entire career. That I did not know that.
And again, it's going to sound like I'm crying.
Pretty
it's going to sound like
I'm
crying.
But that's a legitimate, that's crazy.
The refs have Chiefs hats on underneath their logos.
I mean, there definitely are instances in games where you're like, come on now.
It was pass interference.
It was pass interference. And I don't blame Bengals fans for complaining. As a fan, you're supposed to complain about that.
Yes.
But for everyone else, if you're not a Bengals fan and you're like, oh, but like, no, dude, that was PI. You may not like it because it's the Chiefs. Call it what it is. That was PI.
The only thing that I have to counter that is he was going for the ball.
Yeah.
That's technically not pass interference.
Yeah.
If you're fighting for the ball, you guys can push each other.
It's that he hit him in the back.
Yeah, but he was jumping over him to catch the
ball. Yeah,
ball.
but it was before the ball really got there. So, if it was a bang play, that's different.
Here's my counter.
All right.
How do you defend that then? You hit him in the back as he's trying to catch it?
At that point,
it just doesn't catch it?
At that point, it just comes to positioning. Honestly, that's what it comes down to.
I know, but how is the defense? They're playing prevent, right? Mm-hmm. That's why they were so far away from each other. So he had to come up to the ball.
And I guess at that point, you just have to argue timing. Like, you can still reach your arm around to get contact on the ball. It just comes down to timing. And I understand. Like, I'm not saying it's easy. Absolutely not.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah, we've seen it up close, and I'm sure a lot of other people have seen it up close. But, like, it's hard. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'll just do this. No, that is really hard to do. So, like, it just comes down to positioning, comes down to timing. And, like, is it nearly impossible? Yeah. And, like, I don't blame him for the PI. That's a really hard play to get right.
Yeah,
it is.
I'll give it to him. I would have probably thrown the flag, too. He
Yeah.
got there early. They're both going for the ball, though.
Yeah.
That's the only point that I wanted to make.
Yeah, no, I see your point, man.
All right. Well,
Yeah, that's our top 10. And again, if you disagree, you're just wrong.
yeah, because we're always right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're moving on to our week 3 predictions. We got the Thursday night game this week. We got the Patriots and the Jets. Who you got in that one?
I have the Jets winning this one.
Nope.
Why do you have the Patriots?
What has told you that the Jets are going to win? Are the Titans a good team?
I wouldn't say so, no.
They barely beat the Titans.
Look, I think Aaron Rodgers is getting more comfortable in that offense. I think they're meshing better. I think the chemistry is getting there. I think the defense will improve as well.
Has Aaron Rodgers regressed?
All right. Technically, yes, but you have to have context with that. He's 40-something coming off an ACL tear.
Okay.
But at the same time, he has showed you time and time again why you should not count him out. So why start counting him out?
There's one singular play in that game that I'm looking at as an instance that everyone's giving props to Aaron Rodgers on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the one that saved them the game. It's a 3rd and 18, I think it was, and they convert it on a Mike Williams jump ball, and he goes up and snatches it over the corner. That's on the receiver. The receiver makes that play.
Yeah.
If Mike Williams doesn't make that play, they probably lose that
what,
game.
we're going to fault Aaron
No,
Rodgers?
I'm just saying that any quarterback could have made that throw, and I just think
I disagree. I don't think any quarterback could make that throw.
a jump ball to a receiver?
Look, it comes down to decision-making, comes down to timing. At the end of the day,
it was a fade route.
At the end of the day, he got the ball to his receiver. I can't confidently look at all 31 other starting quarterbacks. Like, yeah, all 31 of you can make that throw.
No, but all 31 of them could give their receiver a chance at the ball.
I wouldn't even say that either. Look, there are some. You think Bryce Young could do that?
Give his receiver a 50-50 chance? Yes. A 50-50 chance? What do you mean? That's why it's a 50-50 chance.
I don't know. I think.
But with Mike Williams, it's more of a 75-25 because he's a big dude and has a huge.
Can I give you this? There's even some quarterbacks that wouldn't even have thrown it to him. But that's all I'm saying. That's
fair.
Like, it comes down to decision making. It comes down to his experience. I think there's maybe not a lot, but there are quarterbacks out there that wouldn't have even done that.
All right. Well, a little bit of a rant here, but I'm taking the Patriots strictly because of their defense.
It's a good defense.
Their defense is going crazy with Gerard Mayo at the helm.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's going to get better. They're just now in 2 games. And again, he was the DC last year, right?
Gerard Mayo. No, he was the linebackers coach.
I mean, yeah, Belichick's the DC, but
yeah.
I bet you Mayo had a lot of say in the defense.
Yeah, for sure.
So, first 2 games fully under a Gerard Mayo defense.
Mm-hmm.
And they're playing great. And they're not even fully gelled yet.
Yeah.
Imagine when that defense gets gelled. And again, for the 3rd straight week in a row, I'm going to mention this again. The Patriots are the Jets from last year.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to win 8 or 9 games because of that defense. And another rant here for a second. Sauce Gardner, all you do is hold people. And I don't know how you keep getting away with it.
He's a dog.
He's a dog, but all he does is hold people. And he gets away with it. He's the only corner in the NFL that gets away with holding.
Look, dog, if you keep getting away with it, just keep doing it.
I guess if it keeps working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. You keep getting away with it, you keep doing you, dude.
Sure. But I'm taking the Patriots. I just think the Patriots hold the Jets less points than the Jets do than the Patriots. I think the Patriots defense is better than the Jets defense right now.
I get you. I just think Aaron Rodgers' experience will come in clutch. I think the defense will end up stepping up. I think that offense is starting to gel together better.
That's fair. I'm taking defense over offense.
I get you.
Which is opposite of what we were talking about earlier in the Big Ten, but and the NFL it's a little different.
Yeah, very different in the NFL. Yeah.
And I'm taking the Patriots. Next game we got the Chargers and the Steelers.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers here, man.
I'm also taking the Chargers.
Yeah.
I'm again not the biggest Justin Fields fan.
Look, I think the theme of this episode has been rants.
Yeah. Ready for another one?
Let me go on mine. I don't get why people are saying Justin Fields is going off.
He's game
what
managing.
Way is Justin Fields going off? Am I crazy or something? There are people.
You're speaking for the both of us right now.
There are
I feel the same
people
way.
that are like, oh, that's why you should have never traded away Justin Fields. What has he done? And look, has he been bad? No, I'm not saying he's been bad. But to
he's Justin
sit
Fields.
here and have the audacity to watch him play, be like, yeah, that's a franchise quarterback. Are you insane? What has he done to show you that's a franchise quarterback? That's all I'm going to say.
He could throw a corner route or a comeback.
Hey, and I've said this from the beginning. He's a good athlete, really good with the ball in his hands when he runs. That's about it.
And you put him on a team that has an insane defense.
Yeah.
And you only have to score 18 points to win games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, shame
lot of teams.
Shame on people.
A lot of quarterbacks are going to win games in that system.
People just say stuff to say stuff.
Kenny Pickett won games in that system.
Yeah.
And where's Kenny Pickett right now?
Warming the bench. Look, man, like, stop. Y'all got to stop saying Justin Fields is going off. He ain't going off.
And to go back to this game, I think it's going to be a close game. I'm not saying the Chargers blow them out.
And that's not Jim Harbaugh's identity. He's not some...
Other than last week when he played the Panthers, who literally couldn't stop
the
Texas.
Commanders. Look, you know this. I don't think the Commanders are all that. I honestly don't. But if we don't beat the Panthers by at least 10 points, I'd be very disappointed.
Yeah.
So...
I just think the Chargers get a run game going. And, I mean, obviously they've shown the last couple of weeks that they will, and that's what they will do. Mm-hmm. And I just don't see the Steelers scoring more points than them.
No, I agree. I think Jim Harbaugh is really good at time management. I think he's going to do that again. I mean, Mike Tomlin is too, but I just think overall, I think Jim Harbaugh has these guys locked in. You have the better quarterback. That O-line. I mean, as an O-line
this is their
nerd,
test.
as an O-line lover, this O-line is really good.
Joe Alt is finally going to get welcomed into the NFL this week.
Yeah, and
he
who
gets
knows?
To go against T.J. Watt.
And I'm not saying Joe Alt is going to dominate him because it's T.J. Watt. Yeah. Like, he's looking great. I'm telling you what, though, he will hold his own. Maybe not every play. Yeah. Like, will T.J. Watt get a sack or two? I'll probably bet money on that. But
the offensive linemen,
he's going to hold his own.
Offensive linemen are put in such a bad scenario where you can block a guy perfect for 70 snaps, and that 71st snap you give up a sack. It's, well, you suck. Why'd you give up a sack?
An old O-line coach that I work with put it really well. He said it really is such a difficult position to be in because what does you get 60? Let's say 60 offensive snaps.
60 to 70.
Let's say you get 60 offensive snaps in a game. For 59 snaps, you could be locking that guy up. You could be perfect. You give up that one play to that one D end. All of a sudden, everyone's talking about you're a bum, you're giving up this, that. You have to be perfect every play.
Which is why it's the hardest position to play. You have to be
perfect. It is one of, and not enough people talk about
that. And corner, to me, are the two toughest positions to play.
And obviously, quarterback. Quarterback's difficult.
Obviously, quarterback's difficult, but you also judge how good of a player you are based off of how you play.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many more factors into being a quarterback than there is an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
You have to be perfect. If you're 67% good most of the time as a quarterback, you're a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah.
Offensive line, you have to be 100% to be a good player.
If you...
Same with a corner.
Yeah.
You give up a touchdown, you suck.
Yeah.
You could lock that dude up the whole game. He catches...
You give up 1-2 minute...
You slip.
Yeah.
And he catches a ball over your head. You suck.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with you there. But yeah, to wrap it all up, we got the Chargers.
We got the Chargers in that one. Next game, we got the Texans and the Vikings. I'm very excited about this game.
Yeah, no, this is, especially the way the first two games have gone, this should be a really good game, but I have the Texans here.
I also have the Texans. I'm hoping Sam can keep it going. Again, I'm a huge Sam Darnold fan. You're not at all.
No, I'm not.
You think he is a fraud?
He is. And will it be this game that he proves it? I don't know. Like, and I keep kind of bringing this up. When he was with the Panthers, led the entire league in rushing touchdowns throughout the first 3 games.
That's a fluky thing, though. That's not even.
I mean, could it happen here? Like, could he be good for the first 3 games of the season this season? Who knows? I mean, we're going to find out this week. I think eventually he will show who he is. But I think this week, just overall, the Texans will be better.
So I have a proposition for you.
Okay.
If the Vikings win this game, What happens?
I'm still on the hate Sam
Why?
Darnold. He's gonna show who he is. Just trust
In
me.
this game, you're saying?
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't. It's too early for me to really. I'll let you know. I will let all of you know.
So if he
when
were
it
to
will
go
happen.
out and beat the Niners, and then the Texans, who we had 3 and 4 in our power rankings,
I'd be like, we'll see week 4. He's not. He's gonna show you who he is. All right, I'll tell you what. If we get to week 8, and he's like
they're
still
8-0.
He doesn't have to be
They have
8
to
and
be
0.
8-0
If
for
he's
him to
just
be
the
good.
reason why they're, he just can't be the reason why they're losing. As long as he's not the reason why they're losing, I will be like, look, I was wrong. I'll even put it to week 6.
I was gonna say week 8's a long time.
By week 6, if he's still like, even if they lose, as long as
They're
he's
4
not,
and 2 by week 6.
and he's not the reason why they're losing, and he hasn't shown regression, then I'll be like, look, I was wrong.
See how he plays against a division player.
But then
rival.
and we're getting way ahead of ourselves here, but that makes it interesting for the offseason. Because, like, look, you just drafted J.J. McCarthy. You're not going to ship him out. You just drafted him. But that does make it interesting for teams that do need quarterbacks to come call. No, you know what you do need to do if you're the Vikings GM? You do trade away Sam Darnold.
No.
Because you're going to get trade value.
You're gonna
wait. It also depends how good he is, though. It all depends, like, how it ends.
I'm on the opposite end of that. I think
Really?
you trade away McCarthy.
Well, look,
Because
I'm not a JJ McCarthy fan.
Well, that's what I was going to say is I'm not high on McCarthy.
I'm not either. But I just think it just looks really bad if you waste a first-round pick like that. Especially one that you traded up for.
What if you can get a second back? The Panthers right now took Bryce Young with the first pick, and they might get a third-round pick.
But that's different.
Why?
Because it's just not working out. It's just not.
It didn't work out for JJ McCarthy.
But what if JJ McCarthy ends up being better than Sam Darnold?
That's tough. You got a second-round pick, though.
I don't know. I just think
to help Sam Darnold get better.
You know, you traded up to draft a franchise quarterback. I just think trading him after a season where he got hurt and didn't take any snaps, like, I just don't see why you would do that.
Again, I am just so sick for Sam Darnold because he was never put in a good situation wherever he was. He finally gets a guy like Justin Jefferson to just, again, a lot of quarterbacks can go play with Justin Jefferson.
Just chuck it up there. We could play with Justin Jefferson.
Probably.
Just chuck it up there. He'll get it.
Yeah. And I mean, I just think seeing Sam Darnold in a situation where he could succeed for once in his career.
Yeah.
This is his spot. And we're going to see.
But it could end up being something good. Like I was saying, like, could get traded. I mean, maybe not a good situation for him, but for the Vikings, for sure, where you could end up getting some solid draft capital out of it.
I think if Sam Darnold hits, you're in a perfect spot for the Vikings.
Just make JJ sit another year?
No, you trade him. Let's say, for example, Sam wins you that division somehow.
Okay.
Do you not keep him?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You keep him for like another year.
So he's just going to fall off all of a sudden? That's how much you're hating on Sam Darnold?
Absolutely. Look, it's going to happen this year. Trust me. And when it does, trust me, I will be sure to bring it up.
You want to know how confident I am in the Vikings?
How confident?
I'm switching my pick to the Vikings.
Really?
I'm taking the Vikings this week.
And look, maybe they do win. They've been looking hot. I just think we have the Texans as the 4th best team in the league.
Yep.
They're going
we
to
also have the
up.
Niners as 3rd best, and the Vikings just beat them.
But it's different. We have them as the 3rd best because they've showed throughout the last couple of years that they are like that.
So then why are the Texans at 4?
Because that's more of a recent. That's more of a like.
They only beat the Bears by 6 points, though.
Yeah, but like it's the NFL. Like it's not like college where you go beat teams by 30. You know.
No, I understand.
In the NFL, 98% of games come down to a play or two. That's really what it is.
That's how confident I am, though. I'm switching my pick to the Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings this week over the Texans.
Well,
I'm jumping on that Sam Darnold hype train because I've always been a huge fan of Sam Darnold, and I think he's finally getting his chance.
I just think you're going to be really disappointed once he shows you who he really is.
I think you're going to be very disappointed until he shows you how good he is.
I doubt it. I highly doubt that.
All right, let's move on. We got the Eagles and the Saints. Who you got in that one?
Look, before the Monday night game, it seemed like a pretty easy pick to go Eagles. After Monday night and after seeing the Saints steamroll Dallas, I'm going to have to go with New Orleans here.
You're taking New Orleans?
Yeah. I think they continue this hot streak.
again, I just think the Cowboys are frauds,
I
and
hope so.
and I think the Saints are a good team,
Hmm.
but I think the Eagles are better.
I think this is going to be another one of those really good games where you really will see what these teams are made of.
Yeah, I think
So,
the Eagles got a little bit ahead of themselves in the game against the Falcons.
yeah.
Started playing a little too comfortably
Yeah.
and lost that game because I don't even know why you lost that game. Like, you lost because Saquon dropped the ball.
Saquon, look, and it's easy
If
to
Saquon
look at
catches
Nick.
that ball, do you take the Eagles in this game?
Honestly, yeah.
So then what is stopping you from picking
I
the
mean,
Eagles?
okay, no. Let me tell you about it. It's not just that. Would the Eagles win? Give me the slight edge towards the Eagles, yes, because I feel like that's just another big confidence boost. You go 2-0, and like, that does something to your morale. Are they going to compete in this game? Yes. And could they win this game? Yes. This is going to be a really close game. I just think the way the Saints offense is looking, and honestly, the way the Eagles defense has been looking, they have not been looking up to par. I just think when it comes to the end of it, I think it's going to come down to the end of the game. I think the Saints will pull away and end up winning
Are
this
you
game.
ready for my bold prediction this week?
Sure.
The Saints go 3-and-out on their first drive this week.
Really? Right off the bat?
Yep, they end the streak. The Eagles end the streak first drive of the game. They go 3-and-out.
Interesting.
I'm taking the Eagles. I just think they're a better team. Like, the Saints, again, I don't think the Cowboys are that good, and they played the worst team in the NFL in week 1.
Yeah.
Any team's hanging 40 on the Panthers right now.
I see where you're coming from.
The Chargers ran the ball almost the whole game and beat them by 23 points. They didn't even have to throw the ball, really. They didn't do anything. They ran
That's
the
just
ball.
hardball ball, man.
I know, but like, again, you put it against a high-powered offense. Every high-powered offense is scoring 40 points on the Panthers right now.
Yeah.
Like, the Saints this is the Saints' first test.
Look, we'll see. The Saints will be at home. Stadium's gonna be loud. I think I'm feeling pretty good about this.
How happy are you that you feel like you fleeced the Eagles for a third-round pick for Jahan
Oh
Johnson?
man, and I texted you when it happened. I was flabbergasted when we traded Jahan to Philly for several reasons. Right now, it's looking pretty good. It's looking like Adam Peters. Like, I was gonna say something I shouldn't say. We fleeced the Eagles. That's all you need to know. As of now, what does Jahan have? 1 catch for 6 yards.
And he started yesterday.
Yeah.
Or
with no AJ
game.
Brown, so you really are the wide receiver too at that point.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, right now, it's looking like a really good move from Washington, trading away Jahan Dotson. Although we still don't really
You could have used him probably.
I would even say that because this was Noah Brown's first game with us. And I'm not saying, look, Noah Brown's not an all-world beater, but if you watch the game, he came up really clutch in the fourth quarter, had a great 35-yard reception that led up to the game-winning field goal. I'm not saying Noah Brown is anything crazy, but when you're comparing Noah Brown to Jahan Dotson, right now Noah Brown is looking better.
Because he caught a 30-yard pass?
Yeah. Look, he has more catches and more yards than Jahan Dotson with less games.
He was wide open.
Jahan's not getting open at all.
He was wide. Like, no one.
Jahan isn't getting open at all.
But they're covering him. No one covered Noah Brown.
Do you go blame Noah Brown for that?
No, but I'm not giving him props for it.
I'm giving Noah Brown, if you're watching, which you were definitely not, thank you from all Washington fans. And we're excited to see him. It was his first game. He's going to gel with Jaden Daniels. Hopefully he'll get more involved in the offense. And right now it's looking pretty solid for Washington that we got a third out of Jahan.
Welcome into the life of a Commanders fan where you're hoping Noah Brown is going to pop off.
Look, we're at the very base of what we're building.
Oh, it's the bottom of it for sure.
Look, slander Washington all you want. Give us 2 to 3 years.
The only team you can beat in the NFL by kicking 7 field goals is the New York Giants.
Look,
I told you that last week, and you didn't want to believe me.
Because when you look at the history, and Daniel Jones still played well, which shame on Washington's defense. An awful defense. Terrible defense. I don't want to go on my rant again. I really don't. No,
I've gone on like 3. You've only gone on 1. You need one right now.
Give it time. We still have to bring up Washington. Yeah, we still have to bring up Washington.
We'll give you about 30 minutes to get prepared for the rant.
There's no random.
Yes, there will be.
No.
There has to be. I've gone on 3. You've
That's
gone
on you.
one.
We switch. No.
Okay, whatever. Well,
I got the Saints.
I'm taking the Eagles.
Yeah.
Next game, we got the Broncos and the Bucks. Pretty easy one. I'm
Yeah.
taking the Bucks.
I'm taking the Bucks as well. And it was one of my hot takes early in the season where I said by midpoint of the season, people will be looking at Sean Payton and be like, "You're
It's
about to
looking
be
pretty
done."
spot on.
Yeah. Like they just haven't looked well, even with a rookie quarterback. Like I don't think that's an excuse for the team overall looking the way they are.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm taking the Bucks, and I think Sean Payton might be on his way out.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy to go with the Bucks in this game.
Yeah.
Going on rookie quarterbacks, J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix are tied for first in passing touchdowns for all the rookies.
Yeah, all the rookies have 0 when it comes to passing touchdowns.
2 people that haven't even touched the field have the same amount of passing touchdowns as people that have played 2 entire games.
Although Jaden Daniels has 2 rushing touchdowns, but yeah, hopefully he gets at least 1 passing touchdown this week. He's a rookie. Look, he's looked like the best rookie quarterback. I know we're not bringing up Jaden or Washington right now. He's looked like the best rookie quarterback as of now. Could that change? Obviously, it could. But Bo Nix hasn't looked well. The Broncos hasn't looked well.
Nope, it's the Bucks.
Yeah.
Packers, Titans. Who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Packers. The Titans just don't look good, man.
Their
really,
defense does.
I guess, but like Will Levis is trash. He's just not good.
He's made 2 boneheaded plays. In
He's just
back-to-back
not
weeks.
at least what he's shown this point so far. He's just not a good quarterback. He's not gelling as well with the receivers. I know as you hope they would have. Yeah, I think the Packers overall is a better team, so I'm going with the Packers.
I have the Titans winning this game, but I'm switching my pick. I'm going to go to the Packers just based off the fact that it looks like Jordan Love is going to play this week. The only reason I was going with the Titans is because it would have been Malik Willis against his old team.
Wait, so if let's do this.
If
Are
Jordan
you
Love
saying
doesn't play,
then you're
I'm
going
taking the
Titans, and if he does,
if
you're
Jordan
going
Love
Packers.
plays, I'm taking the Titans.
Got it.
Or the Packers.
Got it.
I just think that if Malik Willis goes back to Tennessee with how bad he was with Tennessee, they know what he does good and what he does bad. They can stop that. I would.
But he's with a whole new offense.
Yes, but it's still Malik Willis.
I'm not saying he's good by any means, but I don't know. I think he may have been a little rejuvenated with this offense.
I just think it all depends on if Jordan Love plays.
I get you.
So with that Packers. I'm taking the Packers as my
If Jordan
pick.
Love
Nope,
plays.
I'm taking them as my cemented pick. I'm taking the Packers.
You do.
Just because, I can't do that. I can say that about every game. If AJ Brown plays against them, I'm taking the Eagles. If he doesn't, I'm taking the Saints. What? No, I'll take the Packers.
Got it.
Although I still am hopeful for the Titans this year. I think they could fix
it. They're
it's
just
the
not
second game with the new
dude.
head coach. They still have a lot to figure out. The defense is playing really well.
I don't believe in that team at all, I'm going to be honest.
Okay. I still have hope for them. Well, next game we got the Giants and the Browns.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Browns. I think last week was kind of a fluke a little when it comes to the Browns and how they were playing. I still don't think they're going to be that good of a team. I think the defense is really good. I think offensively they're not going to do much. I don't care what they showed last week. Yeah. The Giants, leave it to the Giants to find a way to lose a game when you score 3 touchdowns and give up 0 and you still lose the game.
Yeah,
I don't understand how you do that. Therefore, the Browns will win this game.
Yeah, I'm taking the Browns. It's going to be hard for me. It's a battle for the first pick between the Giants and the Panthers.
Yeah.
Whichever team wins 2 games is getting the second pick.
I agree.
Because the other team is only winning 1 game.
Yeah. They're both pretty bad. And, I know this comes from a Commanders fan. We're bad too, but, we're not that bad. We're bad. We ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying? We're top 6, top 8 bad. We ain't top 2 bad.
You live in a trailer, but you see a homeless person and you're like,
oh, here's some money.
What is that?
Here, take a water bottle.
We're both taking the Browns in that game. Next, you got the Bears and the Colts.
I'm going with the Colts. I think it's just they're due for a win. And they showed last year they could pull something out of nothing. I think that kind of comes to fruition. Yeah, sure, whatever you said. I think it's going to happen, so I'm going with the Colts here.
Florida Rishian.
Yes.
Speaking of Florida Rishian, this is Anthony Richardson playing in this game, right?
Yeah.
So with that, I'm taking the Bears.
What a hater.
I just show me he's a good
It
quarterback.
is.
Show me.
Is Anthony Richardson your Sam Darnold of me? Like, you get what I'm saying? Is Anthony Richardson to you what Sam Darnold is to me?
No, because Sam Darnold was good in college.
He's okay. I'll give you. Oh my God, he was in college like 8 years ago.
No,
Give it up, kid.
Yeah. So what?
That was 8 years ago.
He was good.
8 years. He was good 8 years ago.
He had Juju Smith-Schuster as his number one receiver in college and made Juju look like a...
Juju's working at McDonald's right now.
Exactly. He made him look good.
All right,
and who else made him look good? Andy Reid. Back to the whole Josh Allen thing.
No, he looks better under Mike Tomlin. That's when he looks his best.
Sure, but he also looked good with the Chiefs.
I wouldn't say good.
He was a decent receiver.
He was serviceable.
But that's how bad he was.
He was their Noah Brown.
Regardless.
he was their Noah Brown.
Regardless, I'm taking the Bears. I think... I can't even say Caleb is playing bad. He's just he's playing hero ball. He's playing what Josh Allen was when he was with the Bills in his early years.
But look, he's a rookie. Like, there's gonna be a lot of downs. There's gonna be some ups. Like, I don't know. I think I trust the Colts defense. I think they'll end up kind of making it a hard time for Caleb. So I'm gonna go with the Colts.
I just think that the Bears defense can hold Anthony Richardson in that. Again, Caleb is playing like Josh did in his first couple of years.
Yeah.
Josh tried to make every single play. Caleb tries to make every single play.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that in the NFL.
Yeah.
You have to take what the defense gives you and work with that.
Yeah.
And if he can figure that out, and I'm not saying he will figure it out in this game. I'm hoping he will, and I'm picking them to win. Mm-hmm. So I think he could do that this game. But once he figures out how to do that, the Bears are going to be a very good team.
Yeah.
That pick he threw, the last pick in the game against the Texans.
Yeah. Before the pick,
if that's in college, that's a touchdoin. He's throwing a touchdown. NFL, that corner's going to catch up though, and he sees where you're going to throw the ball, and he's going to.
But that's the thing with the NFL, like in college, it's like only one or two people can make that play in college. It's the NFL; everyone can make that play. Like, everyone's getting to that ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He just needs to understand you can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
that's why Josh has progressed so much. That's the progression level that we need to see. That's the next step we need to see Caleb take.
I get you.
Is just not turn the ball over as much.
Yeah.
Next we got the Raiders and the Panthers.
Do we even need to talk?
Raiders.
I mean, it's.
Honestly, Andy Dalton. You're going to Andy Dalton.
Look, could he win this game? Maybe.
No.
I'm agreeing with you. No, I'm taking the Raiders, but do they have a bigger chance than with Bryce Young? We're gonna see. We don't know. We have no idea.
We do know.
We know they suck.
Andy Dalton's been sitting on the couch for the past 5 months, and they think he's gonna come in and win them a football game over a guy that's been working out with them for the past 5 months. What are they doing? Is it a joke?
It's a really messy situation.
Should sell his team and be in jail for everything. You were the worst owner in the NFL. Get a life.
You tell him a billionaire to go get a life.
Yeah. You think you're better than everybody because you own an NFL team and you think you can do whatever you want?
I will say, other than, and I'm not up to date with the Panthers like I am with Washington, other than all the allegations, we're going to call it allegations because legally, I guess that's what
allegedly.
They are. Other than all the allegations against Dan Snyder, David Tepper is the new Daniel Snyder.
No one has ever liked him.
No one respects you.
No.
You're
bringing the franchise into the toilet on purpose.
Your entire city wants you in a different country. Forget the city. Washington fans are thrilled that Dan Snyder is not even in America anymore.
Where is he?
Who cares? He's gone. But that's what I'm saying. I feel that's what Panthers are with. That's where they're at with David Tepper right now. Who cares where you end up? Just don't go. Just don't be anywhere near here.
Don't be in any of the Carolinas or Virginia.
Don't be in America. I am thrilled that Dan Snyder's on his $1 billion yacht at some island that he owns, doing some more illegal activity. He's not around my team. He's not around my people. I'm thrilled. I feel like that's where Carolina is with David Tepper right now.
I just don't understand what his whole what is that? What are you doing?
It's beyond dysfunctional.
Andy Dalton.
Look,
you can't even get a guy that has played a snap.
You can at least say this
year?
About Dan Snyder. He didn't give up on his coaches the way David Tepper is. Should Daniel Snyder have done that? No. Should he have given up on coaches sooner than he did? Yeah. But I'd rather take how he treated his coaches and how he went about with his coaches than how David Tepper is doing it.
You're just a moron, and you need to sell the team.
For Carolina's sake, man.
Like not even for your. I hope. No, I'm not even gonna say that. But David Tepper, just sell the team, get out of Carolina, and maybe go try soccer.
Don't ruin the beautiful game like that. Don't do that.
Just don't touch the Panthers anymore,
or any NFL team for that matter. Just stay away from the NFL.
Yeah, it's sickening what he's doing.
It's very entertaining from a non-Panthers.
If I'm a Panthers fan, I can't even imagine what it's like being a Panthers fan.
I can because I lived through it. Panthers fans.
They didn't do that, though. When did they ever do that?
All right, you have a good point where we didn't trade the entire house and arm and a leg for a quarterback, just to give up on him for a very old quarterback. I can't think of a time Washington did that. Am I wrong? Maybe. I can't think of a time we did that. It's pretty bad.
You trade Brian Burns, DJ Moore, and Christian McCaffrey, and you trade more first-round picks than you got back for that.
For literally nothing, to end up worse.
What is that? Doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't.
How do you not get more draft capital back?
Have you ever played Madden and you chose your least favorite team and you purposely
make
ruined
them
it?
bad?
That's like what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I hate the Panthers.
Let
me buy them.
That just makes me sick.
Like just ruin them.
It makes me sick for what Bryce Young has had to go through. And I'm not saying Bryce Young is a generational quarterback.
It is not Bryce Young's fault.
Not at all.
It is not Bryce Young's fault.
Did you see the video of him in the game last week of he was like after
his confidence is so low.
It's shot. There's no way
as it should be. And again, it's not his fault. No. How is anyone? Patrick Mahomes would not succeed in that. Like no one. It is a nightmare what Bryce Young is having to go through.
Now watch the Panthers go on a crazy win streak with Andy Dalton.
You know what? Maybe there's been crazier things that have happened.
No, that would be the craziest thing that's ever happened ever.
No,
that would be the craziest.
It wouldn't. But we have the Raiders for all those reasons, really.
David Tepper, get out of the NFL right now.
Now we have the Dolphins, the Seahawks. Who do you have?
I have the Seahawks. Tua needs to retire.
Yeah, talk about. Oh man,
for his sake.
I'm so interested to see how long this episode will be because we could just talk about so much. Tua, dude, and he's not watching this, but obviously
for your family's sake, your sake,
God, dude,
you can still play football. You're a good football player, and we're not saying retire because you can't play football.
Give it up.
You looked really bad in that game, and that's the thing that gets washed in that whole thing, is he played really bad.
He did,
but the injury, you can't keep playing football.
Take it from two dudes that have just kind of pretty much gave it a break and left it. Obviously not as a starting quarterback, but people that were there's life outside football. Dude,
we're to a way lesser extent to what he is.
Dude, your brain is basically soup now. There is a lot more to life than football.
After the Bengals won, I thought he should have called it quits.
And
then guess what? He comes back and he plays good, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we forgot about that." And then it happens again, and it's like, "Oh wait, that did happen."
Dude,
how many more times is that going to happen until he's not getting up?
Did you see? He already said he's not retiring.
I know.
Dude, give it up. It's not worth it at all.
And if I'm the Dolphins, what do you do?
You can't tell. Obviously, you can't tell a grown man, "Hey, retire from your profession."
You could suggest it,
but as his family, and I get it's hard to have that conversation because you gave up so much to play this game. But if I'm his family, I'm like, dude, why? Why
put your family through that?
Why? Because it's not like you got a concussion and you walked off. You are getting knocked unconscious.
And then throwing gang signs.
You are like, you aren't breathing. Like, why are you doing this? I don't get it. Like, okay, I get it, but I don't get it.
Like, and for all of the times that you have seen a player get knocked out on a football field,
Yeah.
how many times have you seen somebody's fingers just lock up?
That's not supposed to happen. That doesn't
He's
happen.
the only person that I can think of
That doesn't
ever
happen
happened
to UFC fighters. You're wearing a helmet and pads, dude, and it's happening to you
And you're the only one that I've ever seen happen to on a football
several
field
times.
twice.
Like, dude, it's time. It's just time. Like, what for? Why are you doing this? Give it up.
I understand the love of the game, but you also just have to.
There's
think about
more to
yourself.
life. There's so much more to life than this game.
And I mean, like, he's obviously already placed on the IR, and Skylar Thompson's going back to the game. Skylar Thompson's starting this week. I just don't see Skylar Thompson winning against the Seahawks with that defense. And
No,
that
the
offense.
Seahawks are looking pretty solid. Therefore, we're going Seahawks.
Seahawks. Tua, just please do the right thing.
Just give it
it's
up, dude.
time. It's not even that you're a bad football player. You
No,
just need to do it
your
for health.
brain is like noodle soup, dude. Like, you have to let it go.
Yep. Next game, we got the Ravens and the Cowboys. Who you got in that one?
I'm going with the Ravens. I think the Cowboys showed a lot of flaws last week against the Saints. Yeah, I know the Ravens have showed flaws too. I know they haven't won a game. I think kind of like the Colts, they're just due for one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I'm also going with the Ravens. I've said it for the past couple weeks. I just Dallas's offense scares me with how one-dimensional it can get.
Yeah.
Their run game, you're banking on Zeke and hoping Dalvin Cook and then Rico Dowdle. Like,
Yeah.
not a very good running back room. And then you got to throw the ball, and it's only 2 CD Lamb.
Yeah.
They didn't have Jake Ferguson last week.
Mm-hmm.
Look what happens. Nothing happens in the pass game when you don't have another guy to throw the ball to outside of CD Lamb.
Yeah.
That offense is just so one-dimensional.
Yeah.
The Ravens should be able to run the ball, play Ravens football. They should be able to take care of the Cowboys. That Cowboys defense looked like a normal defense last week against the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't look like an elite level defense like they typically are. And so for that, I'm taking the Ravens.
Yeah. Totally.
Next game, we got the Lions and the Cardinals. Who we got?
I'm going to go with the Lions. I know last week didn't go to plan, and the Cardinals are looking a lot better than definitely what we thought. I think what the national media thought they were going to be. So I don't think this will be an easy win at all for the Lions. I just think overall, with the experience they have, the tools they have, the kind of team they have, I'm going to have to go with the Lions here.
I'm actually going with the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the Cardinals. I'm buying into. I'm not bought in, but I'm buying into what they are. They're a good football team. They have a good quarterback. Kyler is a good quarterback in the NFL. Very cemented in the top 10. Arguably has had a top 5 season to start the year.
He gets a lot of hate, which I think a lot of it isn't warranted with the kind of talent he has.
But Cardinals fans, you only got until, and I can't remember the date, but I think it's October 26th. You got until then, until the new Call of Duty comes out, because then
he's gonna be busy.
Kyler Murray's gonna be part-time because he's got another job to play video games. Yeah. No, I'm joking with that, but
joking but not joking.
Joking, but not joking.
Yeah,
exactly. But the Cardinals are playing really good football.
Yeah,
they should have beaten the Bills, and they killed the Rams.
Yeah,
the Lions looked like not a bad team, but they didn't look like the Lions last week. And I just think that the Cardinals keep it rolling. Marvin Harrison showed why he was the number 1 receiver taken. Like, he finally showing everybody. And, like, again, Kyler is a good quarterback and just can – what was that? It's all right.
We're good.
We're good. We're all good. Earthquake. Not an earthquake. But, yeah, I got the Cardinals in that game just simply because I think that offense is good. And I'm not even saying their defense is great, but Budda Baker is one of the best defenders in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
And I think with the Lions looking like they did last week, I think the Cardinals can beat them this week.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be close. The Cardinals are looking better than what everyone thought they would look. I just think the Lions edge it out a little bit here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next game we got Niners and Rams. Who do you have?
I got the Niners in that game. The Rams are in a tough spot. They got their top 2 receivers going on the IR with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua.
Which sucks because, on personal note, I drafted Puka pretty high in a couple of my fantasies.
Never would have touched him.
Really?
No. I had a Dynasty League draft
Mm-hmm.
in May.
Mm-hmm.
And Puka was taken in the first round of that draft.
Really?
He was the last pick of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not even under the assumption that Puka's a bad player. Don't get me wrong. Puka's an awesome player. Cooper Kupp is the number 1 receiver on that team and will always be the number 1 receiver on the team whenever he's on that field. You saw that with them last year when Kupp was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing better than Puka was when they were both on the field.
Yeah.
I just don't get the Puka hype.
I get the Puka hype. He is outstanding.
So what happens when Jordan Whittington goes out there and looks like Puka?
He's not going to.
Why?
Why would he?
It's the Sean McVay offense.
Look, and I'm not going to disagree with that point because Sean McVay does have a very explosive offensive, scheme and stuff. But I think Puka's intangibles, height, size, speed, his catching ability.
He's not even that fast.
He has speed to him. He's just big that he doesn't look as fast as what he really is. But he definitely has wheels.
I mean, again, they're just in a really tough spot right now with injuries.
They are, for sure.
I'm taking the Niners to bounce back after that loss against the Vikings.
But I think that's why I have the Rams when I don't know if I said it earlier. I do have the Rams.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh.
We saw it last year where when the Niners lose a game, it kind of trickle effects.
They are missing Debo.
They're missing Debo. Pretty sure they're going to miss McCaffrey again.
He's on IR.
Ayuk has not looked like the same Ayuk. And kind of similar to
Kittle was cramping last game too.
Yeah, and I know I said it with the Ravens, Colts already. Again, just kind of feels like they're kind of due for one. They're hungry. Like
the Rams?
Yeah.
How are they going to win that game, though? Again, those games are usually close.
But, like you could say the same about the Vikings. Not to say they're bad, but
They've won the games, though.
Huh?
They've won.
Yeah, but,
against the Niners.
I promise you, if the Rams and Vikings played, I'm not saying I am guaranteeing a Rams win. I think it'd be pretty close. I would not be shocked if the Rams would beat the Vikings.
I just don't think they have anybody to throw the ball to. Like, Charvarius Ward is locking down Jordan Whittington, and they got Tutu Atwell. That's not going to win you a football game against the third best team that we have.
They're going to pull it out this week. When it rains, it pours. The 49ers show it.
Okay. We got the Chiefs and the Falcons for the next game. Who you got?
It was an impressive win by the Falcons on Monday.
They come back down to earth.
Yeah, they come back down to earth, and they kind of got lucky with that Saquon drop, if we're being honest. Chiefs were our number 1 team. We're going with the Chiefs.
I'm going with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Again, I think the Falcons come back down to earth. They should have lost against the Eagles.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs are just the best team in the NFL. I'm probably going to pick the Chiefs every game that they play.
Until they prove me not. Yeah.
Unless something crazy happens to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are favorites in every game they play.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm taking the Chiefs. Next, we got the Jags and the Bills.
I think everyone knows where you're going. It shouldn't be a secret where I'm going because I've said it earlier. I think the Jaguars are pretty mid. I've said it so far this season. They're showing it. They're a pretty mid team. And the Bills, we had as the second best team. They're looking really good. They have not looked like they regressed like we said, or mainly I've said. Therefore, I'm going with the Bills.
Yeah, well, this is a tough one for me because it's my 2 favorite teams.
Yeah, apparently.
But it's not going to outweigh the fact that I'm a Bills fan.
Yeah.
The Jaguars are my closet team. The Jaguars
I've never heard someone put it like that.
The Jaguars are my secret favorite team,
Mm-hmm.
but the Bills are my actual favorite team. And so for that, and the Josh Allen rant I went on earlier, pretty
should have let you know exactly what you need to know.
I'm taking the Bills. I think the Bills they're true contenders this year. Again,
yeah, for sure.
We don't know how bad the Dolphins were, especially without Tua now.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cardinals, it looked like they were a pretty good team though.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, with the 2 games they've had, they killed the Dolphins. They squished the fish.
Mm-hmm.
Is what the Bills fans say. And Josh got to go be a dad And
Again,
he was a good dad.
for the first time this year.
Yeah.
Has another time to do it.
He gets another time to go see his children.
And spank them.
And he spanked them really good this time, and I'm hoping he'll do it again. But yeah, I'm taking the Bills. And then the last game we got, the second Monday night game.
Yep.
I can't wait to hear what you got to say about this. It's the Commanders and the Bengals.
I'm going to be
You want me to go first?
All right, sure. Go ahead.
I'm taking the Bengals. Obviously, they're the better team. The Commanders' defense going to struggle like they have the past 2 games. And, I mean, there's really not much else. I think the Bengals are mad about this past week, and they come out and put a pretty bad beating on the Commanders.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear this.
I've said for a long time now, I pride myself on being a realistic fan. That's exactly what I'm going to be. I'm a very realistic fan. We were very lucky to beat the Giants. Don't know how you win a game scoring 0 touchdowns, giving up 3. Somehow found a way. Honestly, if Graham Gano didn't get hurt, probably lose that game. I know the Bengals haven't won a single game this year. This is going to be the first win. I just don't see how we beat them. Jamar Chase is going to have like 3 touchdowns. I'm so serious. Jamar Chase.
If he plays.
True. Like the defense sucks.
Jamar Chase hates his life right now.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. The defense is terrible. Jaden looks like a good rookie quarterback. Emphasis on the rookie. The offense isn't looking. 2 rushing touchdowns. Hey, 2 rushing touchdowns. Still gonna win Rookie of the Year. So let's not.
What position does he play again? He played quarterback.
I will not stand for the Jaden Daniels slander.
I'm not
You
slandering
may
him.
slander my trash team. You will not slander the young Messiah.
JD5.
JD5, that kid Jaden. He will take us to the promised land eventually. This season, no, we're still trash this season, which is why we will lose to the Bengals.
That's all you're going to say?
Yeah, I mean, there's no need for a rant. Like,
you guys got a kicker?
Yeah, that's good. We have a kicker. We've been looking for a kicker for a couple years now, which only trash teams take years to find kickers. So that's my trash team. We've got a kicker.
Wouldn't it be something if he goes out and misses like 2 field goals?
Shut up. Why would you say that? That's the dumbest thing you could have said. Look, this, and I've said it this entire year, everything else can fail. The most important thing this entire year comes down to is that Jaden shows he can be the franchise guy. As long as Jaden shows he can be the franchise guy, I don't care about anything else. When it's something like this, you have to start from square one. You have to start from the very beginning, the very basics. What does that include? Making sure you have your franchise guy. As long as Jaden shows he's the franchise guy, whatever happens, happens. And what will happen is that we lose Monday night because the Bengals are just better. They are. They're just the better team, most likely better coached. Like, it is what it is.
Do you see any scenario of them winning this game?
It's happened before, especially in the last few years where Washington, and I know the Bengals aren't undefeated, like we beat the Steelers when they were 11-0 in the COVID year where we had no one. Like, even, was it last year or the year before, we beat an undefeated Philly team? Like, crazy things happen. Is there a scenario where we could win it? Yeah, because, like, Washington has won games they've had no business winning. I just don't think this is one of those games.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, I mean, for obvious reason, like, I'm not going to get mad at it. I would be, and for the most part, from what I've seen, most Washington fans do say we're losing this game because, like, we should. We're not there yet. We're just not, and that's fine. We're at the very beginning of the very beginning. We're not supposed to win this game.
Yeah.
If we do, awesome. Will that...
You're ahead of schedule.
Yeah, and not only that, will I end up saying we're going to win the rest of the games of the year? Probably.
Like it's an 0-2 Bengals team.
Yeah, but like, look, I'm a realistic fan. Pride myself on being that. Realistically, do we have a chance? Yes. Is it going to happen? No, it's not.
Yeah, I don't think they do it either. I wanted to see if I could get something out of you.
No, not this game. Like, we're expected to lose. I think the reason why I had to rant last week is because people had us winning, which we ended up winning. Should we have won? But, dude, no, we shouldn't have won.
Did they win the game?
Yeah, I'm not going to complain about it. We won. Will not complain about a win.
I mean, yeah, you can't. Why would you complain about a win?
No, I do like the taste of winning. Winning's great.
Especially for a rookie. You need a rookie quarterback to get a win under his belt.
Yeah,
Within the
in
first two
your
games of the year.
home opener too, that was really
Yeah.
important. Speaking of home openers, you went back home to ODU,
I did.
saw ODU versus Tech. Didn't end the way we necessarily wanted it to win. But was this your first game back since kind of stepping away from football?
Yes. So that was my first game. That was the first time I've ever gone to an ODU game as a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Every ODU game I've ever been to is been
Because we
working
were
for
with
it.
the staff, yeah.
Yeah. So it was a very weird experience for me.
Mhm.
I even said to my parents, I was like, it's weird being up in the stands because I was out there for like pregame, like
Yeah.
just standing in the front row of the crowd. And I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like, this feels really
Especially
weird.
when you know, like, what goes into pregame. And,
When you
like,
know everybody on the field.
Yeah, that too. You know the people on the field. You know the coaches on the field. You know everyone. Let me ask you this, and be honest here. You could go as deep as you want, whatever. We are about a month into college games. This is our first season not being in it since we started it years ago. Do you miss it?
It's hard for me to say that I don't miss it
Mm-hmm.
because obviously you miss it. And I think for me, the big thing that I would say that I miss the most is the game day experience.
Uh-huh.
Like for me and you both, I think that's the answer.
So when I run into people and they ask like when I first meet people, they ask what you do, whatever. And I was working, I told them I worked in college football, recruiting, coaching, all that. And they're always like, how do you even get into that?
it.
And like, you kind of tell stories, and I always tell them, and I don't even know if I could say this. If I can't, we'll bleep it out somehow. I say the best drug the most addicting drug you will ever have is winning on college game day. There's absolutely nothing like it, and you know it.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, you get excited winning as a fan when you put in the time you have to put in when you're with a college football staff, the things you have to give up. You sacrifice so much just to win a game in front of like a sold out crowd. Like all you want is that feeling again.
Yes.
So I get where you're coming from when you're like, yeah, game day is even me personally, like the thing I miss. Do I miss all of it? No.
No, so that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I don't miss all the work that's involved in it because you don't have a life outside of it.
No, your life is that facility.
If you work in college football, you are in college football 100% of the time, and that's all you focus on.
Yeah, that's the only thing that matters in your life when you're in it.
Yeah, and so being outside of it and having an actual, like, you can
Life.
do stuff.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to be doing this podcast right now if we were in college football.
Not at all. We wouldn't be allowed to.
No.
We wouldn't have the time to do it either.
We would have no time to do this.
All our time would be focused on winning whatever opponent's coming our way. And even if in the off season our focus is how do we get recruits to sign to us.
Mm-hmm. And again, that's our only time that we really have any time to ourselves. So we wouldn't be like, hey, let's film a podcast.
No.
That we're only going to be filming for 1 month.
Because you got to watch film. You got to start getting things in order for recruiting visits. There's just all these different things you kind of have to do. So I agree with you that do I miss game day? Absolutely. Like I said, there's not an experience. You will not experience anything better than a college game day.
Yeah.
When you're in it. Forget it as a fan. When you are in it, completely different animal. It is nothing like being a fan.
No.
However, and I think watching the ODU Tech game is when it really hit me. It was like, dang, I'm supposed to be out there. I know that feeling of being out there and you miss it. And then you sit there and you think, dang, I gotta wake up early tomorrow, go to work. Dang, I gotta spend like 14 hours at work tomorrow. Dang, and then there comes Monday. Mondays are the long days, and then
and not even to mention, you got homework. For college.
So when we started off as student assistants. So you have all this stuff. It's like, dang, now we got homework to do. Dang, we got a paper due tonight. they were not talking to any family back at home. Like, oh my God, I'm late for work. And like, it's just so much. So that aspect I don't miss at all. I enjoy the freedoms I have now, life outside of football.
If you weren't in class, you were in the football facility.
Dude, I'm definitely snitching on myself here. I would skip class to go to, because like, that's just kind of what's
There's
expected.
always been a saying. There's been a saying
I already know what you're about
in
to say.
college football.
Yep.
School comes first,
Mm-hmm.
and football comes second.
Yep.
That's
that's really what it is like. And like, I'm not complaining because like it was fun missing out class. So like, I genuinely enjoyed the work we did working in college football. Like that, it didn't feel like work. Like we loved doing it, but when it was just how much it took away from your real life. That's what I don't miss.
Yeah, you feel like you have a life.
I feel like I wasn't, and like, I don't want this to be taken the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I am a property of that team. Not to say like I was a servant or enslaved to that team, you know.
Not at all. Not at all. That's not what we're saying at all.
But like, you do give up so much for that one
team's
team,
success.
which, not to mention, we weren't getting paid for.
Yeah.
It was all just to kind of get ahead, and like,
It's for the love of the game. That's how crazy we are.
and it's not like, and that's not even, is it crazy? Yes.
Yes.
But that's not uncommon in that industry. You have to work years for free.
Yeah, but then you realize the people that are like, once they get in there and are in there for a month, and they're like, okay, when do I start getting paid? And it's like, well, you probably got 5 more years of this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm going to go do something else.
Yeah.
We were like, cool. What do I need to do to keep getting to that point?
Yeah, like, again, it really came down to the love and the want to be in it forever. But then with us, it kind of just got to the point. It was like, when is enough enough?
When is it going to get to that point?
Yeah.
When
like,
are we getting to the point where we're going to be making some money to be able to do this as a living?
And look, like, as of now, I don't really plan on going back necessarily. However, for me, and I feel like it will be like this for the rest of my life, that door will never be 100% closed. Just because we know what that's like. Like,
yeah.
Just game day alone, like, it is so different. It's not like anything you could ever experience. Going to a locker room after a win,
most gratifying thing ever, because you get to go celebrate with the people that you put in all that work with, and like, it's crazy. Like, it's super hard to explain in words.
Yeah,
you have to just experience.
You cannot explain it in words. It's something you could only really experience. So, do I miss that aspect? Yeah, but
it's the people too.
Oh, absolutely.
You're around the people that are the exact same as you.
Yeah, and like, everyone there is crazy. Everyone, like, you're giving up your life for a program. Like, you have to be crazy. You can't be normal to do those kind of things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you miss the people. You miss game day. You miss
the social aspect of it outside of like in the office work. Mm-hmm. Like, you get to hang out with some people.
You get to meet some really cool people. Yeah. Who's the coolest person you got to meet?
Bruce Smith.
That is pretty cool.
This was my sophomore year, and I was working in recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
He came to the Virginia Tech game that year.
Yeah.
And he needed his tickets.
Yeah.
So I had to walk out and give Bruce Smith his tickets.
Crazy. Were you fanboying?
Oh, yeah. I was like, I'm a huge fan, Mr. Smith. Like, I'm a huge Bills fan.
So like, what a weirdo.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
he was at the game.
He
was at the game.
They showed him on TV. He was on the sideline.
I looked over at my dad. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Bruce Smith over there.
Yeah.
And he was like, which one? I was like, the big guy.
The giant dude.
The big guy. He was like, that's definitely
How much taller is he from me? I wouldn't think he's
6'5".
too much. Yeah, I wouldn't think he's too much taller than you.
I think that's I don't know how many people know outside of the people that we know watching this know how tall or short we are.
Yeah.
I'm 6'3".
I'm not. Look, just from my response, that should let you know I'm not that tall.
No.
We'll end that there.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. Yeah. So then, but yeah, no, he's about 1-2 inches taller than me.
Yeah.
So like I'm a big guy, so like seeing a guy like that in person,
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy to see. And that's the thing is like for me it was really weird being in football because like a lot of the people were bigger than me, and I felt
You're
like
not used to
I
that.
felt normal. No,
Mhm.
but I felt like I just got so used to that, and like I felt like I was like a normal height of a
I
guy,
get you.
and then I go out in public, and I'm just towering over people, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what the? This is not football. The football facility.
That's it's literally the exact opposite for me. Where like, especially look, I'm from a Hispanic neighborhood. Everyone in my neighborhood is Hispanic. Hispanics aren't really known for being tall people. So when I'm in my neighborhood, I'm with like my everyday people. I feel I know I'm short. Like I still understand I'm short, but I don't feel as short when I'm around other short people.
Yeah,
And then you work in a football facility.
and it feels like
Not
you're.
only do you work in a football facility, you work with the offensive linemen. You find out really quick just how short you are.
Yeah, I can't imagine how that was for you.
It was fun. It was fun. Like
Yeah.
obviously, like it's fun. It really is fun. And we said episode 1, the fun parts are really fun. The not fun parts really not fun.
But like you said, the door will never be closed for me.
No, it would
If
like
there's an
because that
opportunity,
love is still there.
if there is ever an opportunity that is good for me
Mhm.
to get back into it,
Yeah.
I would say I would probably take it.
Yeah, like and I wouldn't jump on it immediately. I would have to talk with family and stuff about it. And like you said, it has to be the right spot. It has to be the right position. Like it just there's certain criteria that has to meet for me to be like, I'll stop what I'm doing to go over there.
Yeah.
But I don't think it will ever be like that door will never be 100% closed for me.
Yeah, we just wanted to keep you guys updated because I mean I'm not sure how many people have seen prior episodes, but we used to work in college football, so like
Yeah,
we're
what
just
do we combine? We have a decade.
a decade's worth of college football experience.
Yeah, it's a lot of
I have
time.
about 6, and you have about
Like
4.
4, yeah.
So we've worked a lot in college
Seen
football,
some things.
and we're very familiar with the game. Like we know how things work.
We know the ins and outs of just like the everyday life in a football facility.
So we just wanted to update you guys of how we feel being outside of it now.
Yeah,
And
because
feeling like a fan.
Yeah, because this is the first month that we've experienced it as a fan. Because once you're in it, you view the game differently. Even now, like I view the game so differently than I did before working in college
100%.
football. It's not the same,
No.
and not for good or bad. It's just you just see it differently.
We can't watch a football game like a normal person.
No, there's so many different minor details that you just catch up
Like
on.
I can't even root. Like if a big play happens against my team, I'm like, oh, I know that worked. That was a good play call. Can't even get mad at it.
I'll be watching games with family, and before it even happens, I'm like, I'll just like, oh, he's cooked, or like, oh, he's coming. Like just different. I don't know how to explain it unless there's like actual video from me, like explain it. Like there's just certain things that you see, you're like, that's
you
gonna
see
happen.
Emmanuel Forbes in press coverage.
All right, look, it doesn't take rocket science.
What happened to him?
He has to have like thumb surgery. Thank the Lord. Like
he listened to you.
Yes, my prayers were answered.
Ready to end this?
Yeah, so thank you guys for hanging in there with us. If you made it to the end, you are really a champ. Please subscribe, like the video, leave comments on anything you agree or disagree with, or anything you would like to see from us.
We've loved the interactions we've gotten on TikTok with a couple of the
videos. Do we have our TikTok on our YouTube page?
I'm pretty sure it's on the first video. I haven't been able to link it on the last couple ones because I don't know. It's just been kind of tough. But if you go on my Twitter, if you look up PM Football Podcast on Twitter, all of that stuff is going to be on that Twitter, and you can click on it and visit all of our pages.
Or if you already have TikTok, just look up PM Football Podcast on TikTok, and you'll see our videos there. Like he said, we do like the interactions. We like the minor trash talk. Look, trash talk all you guys want. Sometimes we'll interact, sometimes we won't. It just all depends.
I've worked with the defensive coordinator of a Division I football program. You guys aren't going to trash talk.
Yeah, look, nothing you guys
will offend us.
You unless you're in it, you don't understand the things we've been called. Not just us, just like people. We've heard people get called. We've heard forget like workers and like coaches, players, like scholarship players being called certain things that you're just like,
And
wow.
not to say you haven't called some people.
Hey,
I'm talking about players we played against. You and that Coastal guy almost fought. This dude almost got trampled by a 6'5", 350-pound defensive tackle from Coastal Carolina because he said he sucked.
Yeah.
And that guy turned around and said, "What'd you say?"
This isn't no like average, a solid like 6'5", 310 pounds kind of like.
He's probably pushing 350.
He was huge, and it's even funnier when you find out my real size, which you will never find out unless you know me. But yeah, that was an interesting. We won that game. That's all I care about.
Yep, we did.
Yeah. So to get back to where we were going, thank you for hanging in there with us. See you next week. Let us know if there's anything you want to see.
Yep. See you guys.